Mic check, mic check. All right, all good. Welcome everyone to the Betterment Broadcast. We're about to start. Tell your friend, tell a friend we're live. I'm supposed to actually post it on the actual thing. Let me actually post that. Give me 17 seconds, family, to post it on Instagram. Let's see if it actually takes 17 seconds. No, thank you. Stop giving messages. Let's see if it takes 17 seconds. Meanwhile, let me share this fantastic slide. Welcome to the Black Band Broadcast. I'm your host, Rap Raven. This is the time we set aside for Black people to work with Black people on Black issues. That's what we're doing. So don't forget to follow on the Instagram. That is the actual official page. We promote as best we can. Now I'm just going to quickly do a quick story. Hold on, that one. We go to story. Yep, hold on, take 17 seconds. No, it doesn't take too long. And we pick that black and white image, and then we go live. Ta-da! Super quick, fantastic, mega good. Tell your friends, tell a friend we're live. Yep, let's go live. Excellent. Let me move that way. Dum dum dum. Now, where are we going through? So here's how we're going to start. We start as we always start. So this is where it gets very shocking. But let's talk about it. We are promoting here the double dilemma. What is a double dilemma? It says that Black people can individually be efficient, but are collectively inadequate. Very controversial tones there, but we unpack that. And the second dilemma is Black people may know a friendly non-Black person. However, collectively, Black people have no friends. Oh dear. So we can unpack that today. For those who are new, don't forget to tell a friend we're live. That's what it is. So the problem is a double dilemma. Very big problem. But what is the solution, I hear you say? Well, Black Betterment is that solution. Ta-da! There it is. Black Betterment. So you're thinking to yourself, what is Black Betterment? What is Black Betterment? It is Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment. That's right. Black Betterment is a lifestyle. Let me move my phone. It's the static is crazy here. Black issue is a lifestyle. There you go. So I think someone's trying to read. Lifestyle. So we promote that lifestyle here. Big up, brother Dominic. Big up, brother Stanley. Big up, Melanie Goddess, and big up anyone who's live in the place. This is all for you guys. So when we're trying to practice Black Betterment, there's 3 areas that we reckon are the best we should focus on. We call those the triple tribe. And what are those? That's Black families, Black economics, and Black health. Constructive Black man with constructive Black woman makes a constructive Black family. That's Black families, and then Black economics, Black people owning industry and institutions and supporting Black-owned businesses. And finally, it's Black health, which is train and exercise regularly, eat a healthy plant-based diet with low sodium and sugar, drink plenty of water, and watch stress levels. These things will help in the triple tribe, and we mock them and we have campaigns based upon them. I think I went slightly viral when I was speaking, and we mentioned the Black family variant there. And, so we understand that this is important. And we continue that today. So we're going to send the link out. It's actually stuck at the top, so people can jump in and join when we start reviewing the content. But we say this, when we do, we want to practice the 4D values. And what are the 4D values? Well, they are discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. If we can remember these 4 core values when we're trying to communicate with brothers and sisters, then it should minimize anxiety, minimize trauma, and all the other stresses as well, right? Just by using these 4 these 4 values, sorry. All right, cool. Where's the next one? Next one is try not to use derogatory language. It's very important. Try to use descriptive language. You might hear derogatory language when we do case studies of films or, live events or whatever. But generally, when we're trying to communicate with brothers and sisters, we want to be descriptive as possible. All right. So today's fantastic topics of this. We're going to jump back and forth with others as well. That is Black Betterment Algorithms. We discuss how understanding social algorithms can be beneficial. So it's more so, understanding how algorithms work and how things pick up and what becomes popular, and maybe how to utilize what is popular to get the attention of Black people, but also understand how algorithms can be used to undermine your progress. And also how you can probably get your kids to study IT and then understand how algorithms work. And then when they create apps for Black people, they understand how to control algorithms to benefit Black people. Because not too many Black people are in control of maybe products and software. You might not get too many algorithms in your collective best interest. So that's why it's important. And then the next one is a very important one. And we tackled it a few times, not properly, but we're going to tackle it more here. And it's biracial anxiety control. What does that mean? We discuss how to minimize anxiety within the biracial members of the community when promoting Black love. So this is important. So what this is as you know, Black love is important. And we always say when we talk about black love, we're talking from the standpoint of the member of the family, the member of the community, sorry, picking a partner. And we strongly recommend the template of picking a black person because it's holistic. And I've got a video that went slightly viral the other day, and that's that caused the anxiety amongst people for different reasons. Now, what we say definitely focus on the brother trying to court the sister, whatever. What we don't focus on is the offspring. And the reason I say it is because the biracial community, or what they are calling biracial community, have always historically been within the black membership and thus allowed to practice black betterment. There are many historical brothers and sisters who had one black parent who have been very constructive historically, right? So the issue in there, but what tends to happen is sometimes things are triggered, you see. So some people might think, okay, you're talking, Raven, you're speaking too fast, bro. Slow down. All right, I shall do that. I shall slow down. Yeah. So what we're saying is, with those historical brothers and sisters who had one black parent, they are members of the community, and they're always available. They're always, we don't want to trigger anything within any members of the community, right? So when we are communicating ideas, we have to have a focus point. And I'm saying the focus point should be the man or the member picking a person, and their children should be free from this, right? So the way I've got some videos to show as well, some short ones, whatever. But we're gonna say this because when I was in a lot of the comment sections, people brought up a whole lot of things when they hear topics, and a lot of people focus on the children, and they try to out children and use children as a tool or weapon, and this is not constructive. If a person is born into a kind of mixed household where they have one black parent and one non-black parent, I suspect there could be many challenges they go through. So we don't, in our black betterment solution process, we don't want to add to that. So, but we definitely want to promote black love. So the goal is to let them know they're a member and they can too also practice black love. And that's where we're going. But let's see some videos that might explain this better. I'm trying to think of which ones that I have. I do have quite a bit. Let me find this thing. And don't forget that the link is there. We have some interesting facts, and we want to unpack all the facts that people say, and we want to find solutions. Let me see if I can find some videos. So give me 17 seconds.
Black.
So that's a good one. I'll say that one's a second. What's a good one? No, not you. We'll cover that. What's that? Nope. No, that's not a good one. Or maybe it's just one of them. I don't know. Hold on. There's some topics I want to show as well. We'll maybe do it afterwards. Where's it gone then? Maybe it's that one. Oh, maybe that one. No, we'll come back to that one. Oh, well, let's just show this one now. Let's show this one. Here, this is one. A very important one.
I know oftentimes
I'm obviously just interjecting what we're thinking. But this is a brother. I forgot his name. He's actually a famous rapper, and my memory's terrible. I'm speaking fast and I'm not thinking, and I'm thinking slow, so I'm gonna forget everything. Right? Forgiveness. But if you know his name, just put it in the group. But he's a very talented rapper. And what's good about this brother is he calls out many people in the community who might be destructive, and he says rap about constructive things. Good on him. But I think he had some issues with brother Umar, and this brother himself has his name's not J. Cole. It's not. It's a different brother altogether, right? But he said he wasn't best pleased with brother. Yeah, D1. There you go. Objective pursuit of truth. Yep, good man. A person. I don't know if you're male or female. It matters nowadays. But yeah. So D1. But he had something to say about brother Umar, and he's from New Orleans. There you go. So I think he's got one European parent. I assume it's his mother. I definitely assume it's his mother. And I think that's his grandmother on his pendant, which is interesting. But I also think he's very religious, and that might also influence his behavioral patterns towards certain concepts. But let's have a listen.
To Dr. Umar. I know oftentimes he talks about black people, not marrying outside of their race. And if you marry outside of your race, you are not to be looked up to or celebrated, you know, in the black community. You know, if you bunny hopping, snow bunny hopping.
Snow bunny crisis speaks to a tendency of educated, well-placed, successful black men to date outside of the black community.
That's Dr. Umar's commandments. Are we following Dr. Umar's commandments or are we following God's commandments? We got to ask ourselves that, you know, in an effort to want to be pro-black, we got to make sure that we are not more pro-black than we are pro-God. Because that pro-black stuff or that pro-white stuff, that stuff be sounding good and that stuff be like, yeah, I'm around a bunch of my people and we all saying this, yeah. But that stuff will have you out here doing stuff and saying stuff and subscribing to stuff that's not of God. That ain't nowhere in God's word. But y'all just saying this in the name of being pro-black or being, you know, pro-white or something like that.
So, the brother, all power to him, and he's done a lot of constructive work, and we thank him for these. But once again, that's what Brother Duma has a style, and other brothers have a style, other sisters have a style. But I would say sometimes we need to also give context, and I think once again, black men picking black women is a solution to many challenges. It's holistic help, and it's something that many brothers do not promote. And unfortunately, if we're in a community where black women are being picked the least and black men are dating out the most, then you're going to have scenarios where, unfortunately, black women are not going to have best options when it comes to partners. And now this is a community issue. So what Brother Umar is doing, he's maximizing the options for the sisters in our community, you see? So that's why you kind of need context, is rather than saying about feelings or deities or all this kind of stuff that people want to say. And I think that's why what we try to do is every time we say something, we try to give examples and analogies, because it's very easy to use words and mix them against the black betterment concepts, right? They're doing some data. Was it biracial people in the UK are not raised in the black environment? They are in the US. We don't even have black neighborhoods and towns in the UK like doing over there. That's right. Yeah, so that's why we try to create, networks and frameworks that unite black people and essentially push B1 pro-black and black betterment concepts as a lifestyle cultural choice. And that brother, I think he might be a religious person, and I think his religion, how he interpreted his religion, is then going to speak against some basic tendencies of black betterment, and then it's become constructive and find a constructive partner if you can. So that's that. And there might be one. I'm trying to think of, was there another? Or maybe I was going to show something I did last week. I can't remember. But that's one thing. We'll come back to this important topic, but we're going to go to algorithms first, again, and then come back. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to see if I can find other CD, not CD, MPEG file, what it's called. So I've got a lot of stuff. Let me find. Oh, maybe it's that one. Is it that one? Is it? No, that's something else. But we should cover that still. Where is it? Oh, that's very just tragic. Not you, mate. Not you. Speaking of Umar, this is stuff. This is connected because
Queens.
So as you know, Brother Umar talks about promoting black love, and so now you might have non-black people like mocking the concept. So we don't want to go along with this kind of idea. So here's something we saw in the algorithm.
Black queens forever, snow bunnies never. I said black queens forever, snow bunnies never. I said black queens forever, snow bunnies never.
Yeah. I recommend we don't get involved in that kind of stuff to the youth. This social network click kind of stuff. It's never really good. No. All right, so we can tackle that. Right, it ain't black though. I have relatively light skin myself, but I'm not mulatto. There is no excuse for someone who has direct European ancestry or 1 or 2 generations. I hear that, family. So what we're dealing with here is whenever black people try to come together to find solutions, there's always new branding and new concepts that come through the ages, right? Yesteryear, if a person, people with one black parent, they were in the black community, and then this could last very long. And then obviously new branding comes in where, where it says, no, don't call them Negroes, call them biracial or mulatto, whatever it might be, and that's fine. And then obviously the same thing we could get with the whole African thing, where we say we're not African, we're black, or blacks are not African, and those kind of stuff, right? So what we do is we really, in order to get past all that kind of stuff, right? In order to really just make things easier, we devised this thing here. You see, and we say this. This is what we call the ABC community. It's just done for someone we speak, for those who are new. And we have African people, black people, and colored people, which is also biracial or people of color, whatever you want to say. And we say, look, they can, an African person can be a black person, they can be a colored person, they can be whatever, right? And this is the triangle. But in the middle, we have the sun people. So we say, this is one collect group that we have a template name that's called sun people. We can change it anytime, but that seems to be good because it was named by a black man. So we go with it. And we're saying that black betterment covers all these people. So it's black or greater black, whatever concept you want. So even though historically people with one black parent were seen as part of the black community, and then through new terms and stuff, people might take them out, they are welcome to practice black betterment as long as they follow the tendencies as same with black people, right? So we don't get into the whole, and I'll recommend, if you're trying to find solutions, the whole outing of community members isn't a good strategy. I'll definitely recommend that. But we can also have brothers and sisters jump in to give their testimony and stuff. But we are solution-based here, you see. So that's what we're doing. So let me quickly go back to the topic. So I hope that makes a super sense for you family members out there. What is it? Let's know. Where's the topic base? I think so. There we go. So let's now jump on the algorithm. I saw two algorithm kind of topics, which is very, very important. And they actually kind of correlate with this. So the first one is there was a white guy. I know I had to know them. Where is, I hope I downloaded it. I'll be very displeased if I did.
So the spring black people. Where these my
I'm gonna have to download it. Let me download this and then see if I can find it again. So
my booty hole is brown, girls. Getting through. How is this even possible?
The owners of the algorithm have just decided what goes. I think that's just the harsh reality of it. I think, again, back to ownership, the people who have the ability to dictate what we see in the masses, right? I think about the cartoon came out some years ago, and it's just a bunch of people walking in a line and everybody's falling into this dark hole, right? And like you're trying to let people know, like, there is a dark nothingness hole there. Very few people look up enough or fast enough to save themselves. It's because that is what we're conditioned to believe is what entertainment is. I mean, we know that my booty hole brown wouldn't have flown many years ago, right? When we were talking about artist development and quality control, real actual quality control, we know that stuff wouldn't fly then because we were just, as a people, in a place where we had much more pride in who we were. It's one thing to be famous, but responsibility comes along with that. So the owners of the algorithm have decided that they want to highlight the very worst of who we are. And until we get to a place where we're less interested in fame and money and more interested in the responsibility of the art and speaking honestly about what's really going on, that's what it'll be.
Now, family, so as this is talking about, until you control algorithms and stuff, you won't see certain things. I'm actually looking for. I'm looking black loves white man. What's this one? I'm actually looking for something I downloaded, which it's gone missing. Man, is it victim? No, football slave plant. Is it that one? White racist? Maybe it's that one. Shit, that one. Hold on. Is that one? It's not that one at all. Oh, white mother. Maybe. Oh, maybe this one. Hold on. Yeah, found it. Thank goodness. I'm gonna download. It shouldn't take too long. Let me find my fantastic down super. But yeah, so this is talking about, by not controlling the algorithms and stuff, we're at the mercy of other people, and certain people are gonna more likely get heard, and certain content will be more prominent, and that might not necessarily work in black people's best interests. I see Brother Stanley is trying to cause a certain level of confusion again. That's fine. I think you there. Let me give me 17 seconds. There was a website. There we go. There it is. This one. Voila! Fantastic. Download that. Download. Right. Cool. Close. Yeah. So this might even be very quick. Let's see. Yeah, I can do that. Let me do it. So I'm gonna find some videos just here. So I'm gonna get it. Oh, where is it? Oopsie. File. Download. There it is. And let's see if it is here. Date modified. Oh man, sometimes this is not. There we go. I think this one. No, it's another one. Oh, here we go. Today. Nice. Yeah. So let me open them. So yeah, this is a person. He isn't best pleased. He's a European gentleman, and he's not best pleased with what he's finding on his algorithm. And you might get this yourself if you try it yourself. So you can give this test. Let's watch.
So when you type white mother with her child on Google Images, the majority of pictures that come up are a white mother with her interracial child. However, when you type black mother with her child on Google Images, the majority of pictures are black mothers with their black children, no interracial kids in sight. Same happens when you put Asian mother with her Asian child. No interracial kids in sight, just Asian mothers with their Asian child. There's nothing wrong with having interracial children. My only question is, why does Google only put images of interracial children when you're typing in white mother, but keeping it within the race when you're typing in Asian or black mother?
So yeah, so for some reason that came up. Yeah, we should check that out. That came up on the algorithm when I was searching. This came up. And I went to the comment section. There was obviously negative comments towards black people, as you would suspect. But I did try it. Yeah, it did work. He's right. Once again, that's their issue in the sense of it's Europeans and white people who control the algorithm. It's got nothing to do with black people. So that's their. If they've got complaints, that's for them to do. It's not really our issue. But that's what that is. Oh yeah. So this is briefly. I think the algorithm is working really good if it's showing black women with black children, whatever. But yeah, there's just something to be aware of that the European people are not best pleased that this is happening, even though they're the ones kind of controlling it, man. But yeah, interesting. Now, where's this thing? I've also got some other random videos that. Oh, where's this thing gone? Black Betterment 2000. Yeah, it's got some other the shows. There we go. So we've got some other videos like this, and we're gonna just unpack some other ones, just some historical ones and stuff that might be good. This was an interesting one about Black Wall Street. Let's have a listen to this.
Springs millionaire Ed Mitzen decided to take reparations into his own hands after witnessing the legal struggle of 3 people who survived the 1921 Tulsa massacre, all of them over 100 years old.
And it just made me angry. I was sitting there thinking, what happened to them is irrefutable.
Mitzen heard the story and was fed up with what he saw as inaction from the city of Tulsa. He did something shocking. He gave each of them $1 million of his own money.
Yeah, this is. I'm more interested in the fact that this being ignored. So this gentleman gave him $1 million. I don't know what his connection with the past was. I'm sure he's probably done his history and he's something, but that's him. But what we're saying is, from a government standpoint, or just even from a community standpoint, let me keep playing as it goes.
Viola Fletcher, Leslie Benningfield Randall, and Hughes Van Ellis were all children at the time of the 2-day-long rampage, where a white mob attacked a majority black neighborhood, killing as many as 300 people.
I hear the screams. I have lived through the massacre every day.
The survivors are still fighting after a judge dismissed their lawsuit. Last year, the state Supreme Court granted them an appeal. Hughes Van Ellis died waiting on that appeal.
I think a lot of people look at issues like reparations, they look at those issues as black issues. Right. You feel that they're not just black issues, these are American issues.
Absolutely. And I truly believe that it's our responsibility in the white community to look at ourselves and look at the advantages that we've had and try to give those same advantages to other people that have been left behind.
Right. Yeah. So, cool. So I think, first thing you don't develop a white savior complex. So we get trained to do that. Second of all, those people went through a terrible time, and the fact they were children at the time and now they're all over 100 is an issue. When we try to talk about reparations or issues, they always say slavery and stuff was in the past. But they always ignore the stuff that actually happened, the lynchings and this kind of thing, all over the diaspora. And this is one example of it. So, I mean, this is, remember the concept, collectively we have no friends. yeah, like I said, you might find one good non-black person who's maybe this gentleman is that I would know, but that wouldn't change their philosophy. That unfortunately, collectively, black people have no friends, and we can use this as the demonstration. You see that this is how the dignity is done for people who were terribly mistreated. Big up Empress Cushy, big up Stanley, big up Brother Kel, big up Brother Dominic, big up Foster, big up all the people in the house. Feel free to click. We're going through the 2 topics today, but we're also now going on the algorithm to see what else has been shared. Does it present? Video. Let's see what else other videos I've downloaded today. Let's see. So yeah, this is what there was a kid one I wanted to show in it. Yeah, this is very important. So this is so remember we talk about we're talking about collectively inadequate versus collectively have no friends, and this might be a good way to demonstrate. Naturally, there's many brothers and sisters who raise their children correctly, but we want to watch the music and the cultures that they get into, the behavioral patterns, and sometimes the music might do it. So when you have kids parties and stuff, it's best to maybe have kids music and rather than trying to emulate adult material. But here's, I think, some kind of party. And I don't this girl swearing. I know what she's doing, but let's have a listen. Yeah, so this is young children. Don't know how they are. Lots of them, they all seem to know the words of this kind of song. Song looks like it's probably like an 18+ song. I suspect music in this household or the collective group is played all the time. So much so that the children have probably learned all these lyrics. Don't know if they've learned any of kind of like Black history or any kind of like Black poems or anything that might be of economic empowerment or a unity-based stuff. But they've learned this song, which seems to be a lot of profanity. And obviously they're swearing and jumping around. And I don't know if that was a bigger version of a kid or an adult who's in front dancing with them. I don't know. But so this is one thing. So what we're saying is this is, without knowing, it could be seen as a form of self-destruction and self-hate by not having these kind of like parent restriction over children. But also while that's happening, this is happening in other communities, just us as a case study. Very important. We know this. Very important when it comes to raising. Where's the other one? Where are you? Where are you? Yeah, this one. I think it's this one.
Peace, Black family. So as long as I can remember, I've been hearing this phrase, no one's born a racist, racism is taught. And my question is, when are Europeans going to unlearn racism, whether it's systematic or whether it's a personal thing? When is racism going to be untaught? Because we're 500 years in, and for somehow, either Europeans are the slowest learners in the world, or this whole racism is taught thing is an illusion and a time-wasting mechanism.
Where are they gone? I don't know. You don't know? So who ate them all? Someone come around and they just ate them all. Someone come around and ate the cakes? Yeah. So someone broke into a home and ate Mr. Kipling's Angel Slices. Didn't take the TV, didn't take, some jewellery. They took these cakes. And it was a black man.
Right, so yeah, the child obviously ate the Mr. Kipling's exceedingly good cakes, and they confront the child, and the child first excuse was a black man stole it. Obviously, Brother Stanley found that very funny. So this is what I'm saying. At a very young age, non-black children are seen to view black people a certain way, and essentially scapegoating. We see this, the riots we're talking about apparently was started between an argument between a black man and his European lover, and she accused him of something. I think an argument in the lift. So I read. So the thing is, this is one of the challenges we face. In America, this is obviously in England, but there's a comment there. There is wonderful parenting in America, and there's obviously some that need help, and we want to focus on the ones that do know to help the ones that don't know. But definitely all over the diaspora, having children rap or sing or any kind of adult material in parties might not be the best way. Things to think about. What else is there? Should I do the Nature Boy stuff? Maybe not. Hold on. Let's see what else there is.
Studies have found that
Nah.
Black. A lot of people don't know. Almost 1 out of people are the only people that send their brightest.
Let's see what this brother David Bannon America was talking
Are
about.
the only people that send their brightest and their best to white colleges and white people. We talk about the football players and the black basketball players for dating white women, where you sent them to white colleges and made them be around all white people anyway. The problem is that most black people want to be white in the first place and won't admit it. They don't want to stay around black people when they get their money. They don't want to go to HBCUs. I don't think HBCUs should be a choice. I think that should be the only option that you have.
Brother, just highlighting that, some of the reasons might be because if you send many brothers and sisters in other communities to learn and stuff, they might become very attached. And I think that's why you need a black betterment plan. I think some people in other countries, they were told you're going to learn in these other countries, but your job is to come back here and fix it, or to not necessarily marry into that culture, but to come back and fix what we're paying you to do. That's important. These kind of strategies that you have. That might correlate. Look, this is quite interesting. The kids talking.
I'm from Canada and St. Kitts and Nevis, Nigeria.
And let's say you guys grow up to become football players. What countries are you going to represent?
I'm going to try St. Kitts and Nevis and then play the rest of my career with Canada. Probably Nigeria because it's my home country, innit? So I have to represent them.
Exactly, I was going to ask you Nigeria or England. Why not England?
Because I've got to stay loyal to my country, innit?
Nice, I like it.
I say stay loyal and, represent the countries of your people that have raised you instead of the people that you lived with. Stay loyal to your country, you know that. But yeah.
Two brothers there, one from Africa, one from the Caribbean. Sister says the comments were disgusting over this video. I haven't seen it, but I suspect it would have been. I should have jumped up. I should have jumped in and done so. But maybe tomorrow I'll jump and see what they're saying. But big up those young kings there. There's something we have to also colorism concepts. Oh, come on, 10 videos. Let me get rid of some of these. Remove that one. Remove that one. Remove that one. Remove that one. And remove that one. And remove that one. All right, let's find that one. Oopsie daisy. Did I get rid of the thing? I probably did. What's just the one I was doing? No. Colorism.
So they said
this is an interesting one. Very important. This
found that African Americans with the lightest skin tones, their pay and their wealth is actually on par with white folks relative to those with darker skin tones. So there was a research study that looked at Black students, boys and girls, and it found that for Black girls in particular, that those with the darkest skin tones were 3 times more likely to be suspended than Black girls with very light skin tones. Even despite all those other variables, they understood, or they saw in their findings, that they were consistently seeing that girls with very dark skin tones were 3 times more likely to be suspended. Even when a brother and a sister, or a sister and a sister, are brought up in the same household, more often the lighter skin sibling will have higher levels of schooling and education, right? So other studies in education have looked at Asian American students, Latinx or Latino students, and they see that even for siblings. So we see that not all Black people are experiencing racism in the same way, and we have evidence throughout time to show that. And then one last one that I'll share is how even amongst African Americans, there can be a 12 to 14% income gap or wealth gap, again, despite years of work experience or the type of job industry that they're in.
So two sisters, they're talking about, they're talking about being hired. So it's once again, it's we're not having your own industry, so the favoritisms of the hirers, and they are showing either colorism or white supremacy, depending on who they are. And I think this is highlighting the pay gap and this kind of stuff. So things to remember. This is why we practice Black economics and Black industry building, so you can all over the world, all over the diaspora, so you can and obviously Black Betterment as a principle, so you can be aware of these things, so you can disrupt them. Speaking of trying to be light, I saw this as well in Jamaica.
American bleacher. Of course, we not be it for 2 or 3 days sometime, but the longest me ever go is a week. I am a Jamaican bleacher. Yes, at times we're tired for rubber and cream, but we have to do it because we don't want to get back black. I am a Jamaican bleacher. Yes, we are like vampires. We not like the sun. I am a Jamaican bleacher. Yes, when the time all still hot, we're always in some long sleeve or some baggy or sweater clothes. I am a Jamaican bleacher. Yes, our face usually look bun up and cranny and thing. I might look like Freddy Krueger, but just the process.
Right. So I think they're now doing you know, they're talking this bleaching thing might in Jamaica might be going and all over the world to be honest, but now this kind of style of videos is where they say I'm, and they say either I'm a Nigerian or I'm mixed race or I'm Jamaican or whatever it might be, and then they give some kind of stereotypical response to it. Now the bleachers, the people bleachers, I don't know if you call them bleachers, but the people who bleach are now making videos to highlight and to promote their obsession with bleaching and why they think it's a good idea. It was the algorithm gave me more. Is it this one? This is I think Jamaica again. It's a different guy.
Attack, you know. I'm still not here, you know. You see, as long as my bleaching up, and my bleaching cream up, I don't give a fuck.
Forgive the language.
Right now, I feel hot.
Case study.
Whitest man in Jamaica, whiter than the white. I tell you, know, uno niggas, I don't know girl. Anyone I pull up in our parish, females and get crazy. Jiggle for my mom. You see, pray. One voice machine, hear that? New music a forward. Stay tuned. Excuse us.
Right. Yeah, not sure what's going on there. Maybe I don't know if they're trolling or that's the marketing they're dealing with. While I'm thinking, let's have some uplifting news just for a peek.
The Ghanaian British engineer that invented the world's first auto-translator earbuds. Yep, Danny Manu's Clicks headphones help people cross language barriers by translating over 40 languages in real time. And you know what the best part is? They don't even require an internet connection. All that's needed is for the earbuds to pair with a smartphone's Bluetooth and voila! One can now communicate with nearly 2 billion people around the world. Manu's earbuds can automatically pick up on what language is being spoken and provide spoken translation within a sentence or two. It's truly revolutionary. Born in the United Kingdom to Ghanaian parents, Danny Manu studied at Oxford Brookes University and describes himself as a hardworking engineer who strives to develop life-changing solutions to improve people's life. And that he did. His latest invention became a hit in markets across Europe, the US, and Asia, and he was recently recognized by Google for his contributions to science, arts, and culture. What with the current globalization of our world, bridging gaps in languages could be a huge step in bringing us closer together, and Danny Manu's innovative drive is definitely helping us get there.
So big up to that, brother. I want to show you some constructive stuff. What are we dealing with? Let's talk about black ignorance. Just to saw this in the algorithm.
Ignorance is a mega $billion industry. There were statistics that showed that just with fake hair and fake nails in America, they make $7 billion a year out of black people. Out of black people. So it's black ignorance, you know, it's a mega $1 billion industry. Once we understand that part, that the things that we need to design them ourselves.
Very good. The elder giving some good wisdom there. What else did I see? We're just doing the algorithm check at the moment. Why is my phone? Is it picking up some crazy static on this? It's mad. But
we as blacks have been so rewarded for being victims.
Yeah, this is a brother talking about victim mentality.
Blacks have been so rewarded for being victims. We create our group identity around our victimization. We believe that our victimization is our primary power in American life. That's the hammer we have to hit white America over the head with. We use that rather than develop our own talents, our own skills, rather than competing with other groups. And so we get weaker and weaker.
So, brother, they're talking about the importance to compete. Black Bam, we talk about the importance to compete. That's important. You never forget the challenges that's happened to you, and you use it as reasons to unify more and to not break the unification. But definitely competing is something we want to do, and that. So let me see if there's any more. That was a bit shocking. We were going to cover this maybe, and feel free, family, to jump in. The two topics, even though we're going on more of an algorithm searching on. So Black Betterment Algorithms. We discussed how understanding social algorithms can be beneficial, and biracial anxiety. We discussed how to minimize anxiety within the biracial members of the community when promoting Black love. I think for those who might have saw this video, if those who are new who saw this video, I think I brought it last week. Let's see if I found it. Where is it? Where are you? Even thought, was it last week or was it the week before? Where is it before? Till this day, what? Wait a minute, maybe I missed it. Oh, I'm sure it was last week, right? Or maybe it was the week before that. Ah, it was the week before that. Wow, time goes by. So some people might have seen this go. People were sharing this quite a bit, and some people might have jumped on from there. So if you're new to the channel, feel free to jump in to have discussion, or you might just be listening. You're always welcome to jump in live. Just click on the link at the top. Good stuff. But this is where secondary and tertiary, right? Primary is to get. Let's go back. So you might have heard this kind of stuff.
The thing is, so if you was outside and they say a Latino. You found her attractive as hell. She found you attractive.
Yeah.
You started speaking. Yeah. So your subconscious wouldn't allow things to take it further because
I wouldn't be able to marry anyone who's not Black.
You wouldn't be able to. That's your own personal choice.
Yeah, it's like me. I know better. Does that make sense? Like, if you talk to any pro-Black person,
well, she's half Black then. Does that matter?
That's fine. My issue wouldn't be with her. If I met a person who had a European parent or an Arab parent, I would be aware that they might have issues towards my ideology, right, or how I'm trying to do things. It will never be the person. I wouldn't. So
it's the ideology,
and that ties into the biracial anxiety control. We discussed how to minimize anxiety within biracial members of the community when promoting Black love. So we say that it's the issue. If there's ever an issue, it can never be them. The issue really is the parents beforehand and what they've done and how they perceive things. And this is a way to always keep it with the man making the choice. You see, or the woman, but more so the man making the choice. That's, but every member are welcome to practice Black love. So the offspring of the union are welcome to come back into the Black community and be constructive, and all privileges are the same. Yes, it would never be that person, because historically, what they called mulattoes and quadroons was and Negroes. This is the historical terms. Were under the Black. They had the same ancestry, went for the same challenges, and were seen as Black, right? So there's a cultural connection through that. But those are still people of African or Afro-tropical people descent, right? What I'm describing is, it's almost like if you go to a nun, and the nun's purpose is to promote Christianity, right? And the strategy for that nun is to not marry a man, because it makes it easier to promote Christianity. We will never say that nun hates men. We understand that nun loves God or loves Christianity, right? I don't hate anyone.
Perception, though.
I love Black people.
Perception, though, because you can say that nun hates men.
Well, you can. But what I'm saying is, this is how marketing works, brother, isn't it? When you are, it's like... And that segues us into a very important new talking tactic, a talking point that we're going to unravel. And that is as such. Where is it gone? Hold on. And that is the share file. And that is dun 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 dun. So something I deal with a lot, and I suspect many of you brothers and sisters deal with it as well when you go out in the interweb and you promote Black love and this kind of stuff, is you get usually, and the brother in this video was more so playing European advocate just for purposes of the video, but generally other people, what they do is they do what we call either a failure fabrication or a success simulation. And what does that mean? That means if you say, yeah, well, we're here to promote Black love because it's holistic and Black people need it and it's very important for the community, they'll say, but what if the Black woman was wicked to the core and she beats you with a big stick every day and she throws a hot pot of rice on your head, this kind of stuff, right? And what if the European woman flew from the heavens and was grand in all grandness? And that's what they do. And they'll keep giving you these scenarios. But what they'll never do is they'll never give you a success simulation of a Black scenario and a failure fabrication of a European scenario, right? Or a non-Black scenario. So this is something to be aware of, and now we have the terms. This is, so when they say, sorry, brother, this is a failure fabrication, what you've done is you just took the black woman or took the black man, or whatever, and you create a complete Lord of the Rings story where they're failing. Where really, how do you know that when you become constructive, you don't find the most constructive black woman the world will ever know? Or why don't you tell a success story where you feel that you're not best pleased because you can't find the right woman, so you join all the other black betterers and B1 people to create institutions and ideas and apps and stuff to collate, educate, and be great, whatever, to black women and black men, whatever, so we can find well-to-do and all that good stuff, people. So you can always have your success simulation without having, you don't need to do your failure fabrication, you see. So now your term is that this thing's annoying me, this phone, man. What's going on? Sorry, family, it's just my phone's making crazy noises. You probably can't pick it up, so that's good. Whatever. Every time I put it in speak, these expensive speakers. Anyway, so yeah, so what I would say is, if you wish to jump in, family, feel free to jump in. I was actually earlier on a show. Maybe I should play some of that. Maybe not. I don't know. But what it was is, what's happening is people are hearing Black Betterment, and because once again we say many things of Black Betterment, but what's the most triggering is constructive black man and constructive black woman makes a constructive black family. And there's a historical reason why this is so triggering. But there are many people on podcasts now who are having streams, tearing down myself and others. And what I was pointing out is the reason why so many black men don't promote black love is because you become a target on the internet. And what it is you're triggering many people's traumas. And I think we have to be open with that and be okay with that. We're triggering people's traumas, so we have to allow them to vent. And all over the internet, we are venting. Even in the comment section, some of these videos, it's tremendous venting. And what we try to do is, within that venting, we try to let them know they're loved. But also, we understand that some people might indirectly take offense. And we try to, make that, we try to do that. But we're joined by two new brothers, two brothers. One's called Brother Razor, and one's The Objective Pursuit of Truth. Welcome to Black Betterment Broadcast, family.
What's the word? How you doing?
Very good, family.
That's good, bless.
Good. And who's your other brother? Or sister, I'm too sure. So, well, when you find your mic, you can listen. And there might be some echo, so I might mute you guys when you're not speaking, just so the echo isn't too terrible. But we are joined here by guests, and by all means, as I suspect you might be new, so if you are, you're always welcome to either talk on the topic, or maybe there was something you saw in the internet that you want to cover or weren't best pleased with. I'm not sure. I remember talking to a lot of people who said they want to jump on the channel. Let me just mute that. Hold on. I'm just gonna mute you guys for 7 seconds, just because I'm just trying to find out where the echo's coming from. Echo. Yep. What they wanted to say is they weren't best pleased that there's a viral video going around promoting black love, and they wanted to come and challenge the concept. And there was hundreds who said, "I'm gonna come and challenge you." I suspect not hundreds will jump on if they even listen at all. But if any of those are in the interweb or internet, feel free to click on the link and jump in, and we can have a constructive talk about why it's important to promote black love. But we are joined by two guests. I can't find the thing now, But is there anything you'd like to talk about, family who's jumped in?
Yeah, is mine echoing? Is mine the one that's echoing?
I think it is. So I won't speak while you speak.
Is it still doing it?
It is. Have you got the
Let me
video?
see it. Let me try to see if it's because of the YouTube in the background.
I suspect it is. So yeah, family, if you jump on the panel, don't forget to mute the second. Try to close down the second video, because once you jump in StreamYard or Streambird or something, it creates another video within where you're at, so you can actually mute the other one.
Is it still doing it?
Let me hear it.
Mic check,
yeah.
mic check, mic check.
The thing is, brother, I think with me, so you can talk, and then when I'm speaking, you can mute it. So ask your question, and I will mute afterwards.
Oh no, my thing is just the regular statement. I think we need to reevaluate our standard on biracial people. I think that it would be more beneficial towards the movement or Black Betterment if you treat them don't treat them bad, like as far as like how European or Eurasians treat the mulattoes, but They should get, to me, they should get the same approach as somebody that has willingly made it with somebody European, just from a standpoint of they can practice black betterment from a standpoint of they can um, they can help out, but they can't be directly involved. I don't think, because when you look historically, yeah, we've classified mulattoes as black, but when you look at it, for the most part, they are bad. Like they don't they end up collaborating with the white power structure, and if they could. If they could, as a default setting, they want to identify with the white power structure. So I think you should, if you do include them, you have to look at them with a grain of salt, in my opinion.
Thank you, brother. Let me. I'm going to meet you while we talk on that. So it's a very important topic, and this is new brother speaking. We say this. So the truth is, I see the logic of what you're saying, and historically, there's many people who have the same conclusion, and I understand that. But also, what we dealt with is the conundrum that historically there has been many people with one black parent who have been very constructive and done wonderful things, and the circumstance they found themselves in, it made sense for them to practice the black betterment or the B1 concept there. But then at the same time, there are brothers who have two black parents, and they have also been unfortunately not have been unsynchronized in the sense of they've maybe sold black people out or sabotaged black progress. So we know that whether you have one black parent, two black parents, or whatever it is, you can still sabotage collective movements. So the question I always say is, what is it that makes a person do that? So we've concluded that close proximity to non-black people has a heavy could have a heavy toll on how a person perceives the world. So naturally, a person born into a family group or adopted by family, that's another thing, that could have an impact, right? That could have a strong impact. So the question is, could you have a kind of monitoring system or a qualified system in any kind of thing you're doing, where if it should be for everyone anyway, but you're more aware that if someone is married into another community, or they're born to another community, or they're adopted by another community, then there's certain rules that they have to agree to before pursuing. I think that might be a better strategy rather than saying by default you don't qualify. I think because historically there has been people who have done wondrous things, but this is something that we I think we were discussing this in the reparations claims a few weeks back. But these people, brothers and sisters, are giving their opinions. But at this standpoint, where we're at, any person of identifiable African descent or black descent can practice black betterment, and they are to be respected as such. But at the same token, there's now a wariness of people sabotaging progress. This is no different. This is similar but different to concepts where you have black people from different lands going to other black lands and then undermining the projects and progression of the black people in that land. And then people try to delineate. We see that happen in America at some points. So it comes down to the people who are going to that land. There needs to be a constructive element from that to actually speak on behalf, to actually correct the behavior patterns that's happening. And I think in the one black parent or the mix or the biracial community, whatever it is, that there needs to be someone who steps forward to try to rectify some of the things that might have been said or not said. Greens for the new people. But we definitely want to unpack this, and we want to talk about it respectfully. There you go. You got did someone is that raising want to speak? Or is it no? It's object. Okay, go ahead.
Good evening. Long time.
Oh, you're there. Oh, welcome, brother Razor. Yeah, long time. How's it going?
Yeah, things is alright, man. Just I'm awake.
Okay.
But anyway, I just wanted to chime in on this conversation in regards to. I don't know if it's about the idea of recognizing mixed race people or the idea of self-love as well as self-hate. So I kind of just jumped into this. There's a bunch of us out here who, even in 2024, there's still a divide between us and, in regards to a diaspora sense, we're still drawing lines.
Yes.
Now I don't know if you noticed, Raven, in London, a lot of Afro Latinos have moved to London.
Okay.
A lot from Colombia and certain other places.
Right.
They add to blackness per se. However, in the UK, the idea of loving ourselves is not exactly what it seems to be. There's still people out here who, let's for example, the old conversation of if you're about your own race here and you marry outside of your race. Like, I don't like to use the term pro-black too much. It's like, how can you be pro-black? And I understand those who feel a certain way about that, because I still live in a sense of objectivity. I don't see no utopian society that I live in. I really don't. It's not a depressing thing. It's not. I just think that sometimes the parameters that's been set for us is still here. There's nothing really changed that much, you know. And speaking from my own personal perspective, my father is mixed race,
Right.
so I can't. If you look at my dad, you'd never believe that my grandmother is a dark-skinned black woman.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
I think in the UK, it's almost like this type of special connection to having proximity to whiteness. It's like if you're not from a certain place, your phenotype doesn't express the characteristics of acceptance and so on and so forth. You're hated upon.
Okay.
I have to bring this to the table because this is due to my own personal experience. I'm very much 80% of my bloodline is Black African people from the Caribbean. On my mum's side, it's probably a bit more admixture, but everybody's black. You know, I don't know the Asian side of my family. I really don't. But at the same time, this is where this idea of confusion, or some people I might say confusion, in regards to what the brother was saying in regards to like if you look at Haiti, the mulattoes sided with the whites and all that, and you know what happened there. But I never really looked at we used to say half caste back in the day, innit?
Right.
I never looked at that as like an insulting word. I was just like, there's black people, there's white people, there's Asians, there's half caste, there's Mediterraneans, and blah blah blah. I never really had any malice like that. You know, even if my dad wasn't biracial, I still feel the same way. But that's all I want to say about that.
Well, thank you for sharing, brother. And this is what the thing is. The Black Bearman is a local global concept. So we're dealing with so many different terms, historical expressions, and histories, and we're trying to find a way to collate them best we can. Because ultimately, anyone who's within the Black community can practice Black Bearman. It's a lifestyle we promote. But I think that what we can do is we can actually try to find methods and frameworks how to be inclusive and how to draw the line. So I would say just through the history and the study that I've done, as well as try to collate back data stuff to make it make sense today, I don't know if it's the best option to say that a person with one Black parent isn't to be in the community or isn't allowed to practice Black Bearman. But I am saying that you can have certain criteria where it's like, if close proximity to non-Black people might heighten the chance that you might want to sabotage Black progress, because it's just how it happens. So because of that, we have certain things in place to make sure that we minimize self-sabotage. This is what it is. Go on, brother. Truth.
My thing is, from a today's standpoint, to me there's no excuse. Like in the past, I mean, you didn't have a choice. If whoever was quote unquote owned you went into your quarters and you was a mulatto, you couldn't affect that. I mean, you couldn't do anything to object that. But if you have a European direct European ancestor within the last 2 generations, I mean, there's no excuse for that behavior. And if you're adding someone into your quote unquote movement or a party that has a biological split allegiance, you're just asking for confusion. Even if in out their mouth they can say that they are with black or with Black power, but what's to say that in the white power structure they start classifying them as able to be white? You think they're gonna stay with us? No, they're gonna identify with the current power structure. To me,
So-
it's you adding too much confusion into something that's already confused.
I hear that. And what we're doing, I hear your point, bro. I think what we're saying though is, regardless of what the person's makeup is, right? The chances of them being a member sabotaging black progress is heightened. So, regardless of where they're from, we know that two black parents, people from the continent, people in the diaspora, people of mixed heritage, people of non-mixed heritage, can all be tempted to sabotage black progress because, unfortunately, it's easy to steer black people the wrong way. This could be a good case to say why you want a strict criteria of who can qualify, but I still say that because of historical reasons, and some, I think some people wrote it before very nicely. They said people in the past who had one black parent, they were forced to be in the community, and they were shown the horrors of what black people went through. So they are automatically black by that concept historically. But today is a different day where people are willingly joining. So their affiliations will differ because in the past they're running from the horrors of enslavement and what was happened to them. But now there's more incentive to run to what they call racial whitening and towards the European side or whatever side they're married into, right? I mean, this is a very important topic, and people have their own opinions. I obviously put what I personally think might be a good technique or strategy, but others might disagree. But as far as I'm concerned, that's like the brother said. He
Can I interject slightly?
Go ahead, brother Razor. Yep. Yeah, go ahead. You said you want to speak.
There's I don't know if this is the right. Sorry.
No, yeah, sure, you can speak.
I don't know if this is the right word to use, or there's a weird insidious. Hello.
Yep, we can hear you.
Hello.
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Anyway, I was just saying.
Go ahead.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I don't know if this is the right word to use, but I think there's a slight insidious promotion of the idea of biracialness in the UK. If you look at a lot of the adverts for the longest time,
yes,
and marketing promotion has always been about the shot and how things look. So per se, the irony behind that is that in high fashion modeling, they take people from South Sudan because of the facial features and the cheekbone structure and so on and so forth. Isn't that ironic? However, they have a lot of like mixed race and half caste kids and adults even being promoted. The idea of you know what, I don't expect the UK to really do anything per se, you know. I can't say I'm not bothered. It's just something I still notice, and even with like a conversation I had recently, and it was, and I don't know if the guy is not really up on things, but he didn't seem to really catch what I was saying, because having pride in yourself means a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So I think what you said there.
That's you know what I mean.
Yeah. So you spoke about adverts and stuff. We actually covered that today with the algorithms, right? But I would say the way I've always looked at it is the sense of like biracial people or Africans, black people, are within the black community, right? And how they navigate is they are part of the community. So, for example, if you look at Bill Cosby, I suspect 1 or 2 of his children might have been biracial, as in the actors, not the characters, but the children, right? And that's always happened.
Oh, they definitely were.
Yeah, and there's some people you wouldn't know, and there's some people it's hard to tell, blah blah blah, and it's not even the issue. The issue, if you're saying now, what's happening is if they're on adverts and stuff, they're promoting only the parenting, meaning the black man and the black woman marrying non-black people, and that becomes a trend, especially in a time where we're witnessing low levels of black families or constructed black families. Then that's the issue. The issue, and that's what we're saying about how do we discuss how to minimize anxiety within the biracial members community. When promoting black love, and I'm saying family as a strategy. I don't think we should put any emphasis on the children. I think that if a child, I think Bob Marley, what's his allegedly Nat Turner, allegedly, and allegedly many other brothers. The list goes on. I'll have to see if I get the list there. But obviously, the time of slavery is very different because of how black women were abused. But there are many people who have one parent, and because of the way they've been raised, they're dedicated towards black betterment, right? And so we know that's possible. So because we know it's possible, I say we should put little emphasis on the actual offspring and more emphasis on the parent who's picking the partner. So that's why I said when people, what they will do, they'll focus, and there's this saying where it's like, you shouldn't say biracial people are black because they come from a white woman. This was like a campaign that people did, and it was very effective, right? And my thing was, don't even go there with that new analogy. Yeah, don't even go there with that analogy. Your best bet is saying, if you want a black family, your first member has to be black. That way, if you haven't picked a black person, you don't have a black family. So you have a mixed family, but you calling a mixed family doesn't come from the children concept. It comes from you picking a non-black person. Yeah. So we'll talk about strategies here. So hopefully that makes sense. And I think the brother wants to speak.
Like it does, but to me, and I see what you're saying. I wouldn't even say emphasis. Like it's not. I'm not putting the emphasis on the children. I'm just saying as far as from an organization, from an organization aspect and standpoint, I think the dual allegiance is you're setting yourself up for failure with it, in that sense. But I think that a deterrent from that, from people swirling or whatever you call it, you have to realize that your children are going to be looked at with a side eye if you commit that act. And that's what they do in other communities. Our community is the only community that still allows biracial people to get the full the full identity. We allow based on historical reasons. And my thing is we have to reevaluate those historical norms, because really the only reason why we look at a one drop rule is so they can have more workers. It's nothing biological about that. That makes them more black than more white. And when we're dealing with a power structure that people that have any type of proximity to whiteness, like you said, are going to want to identify with white, because you have less pushback in society. But I agree with what you're saying as far as not necessarily ostracizing them in a bad way, but I just think that as far from an organizational standpoint, they have to be on the periphery, in my opinion. But you are correct when you say there are people with two black parents that that can deter you from progress. But the thing is, they don't have a biological dual allegiance.
Yes. No, and that is, I hear that, and this is yeah. Let me just mute the book. Yeah, this is one of the challenges we face, but I think at a certain point, and this is a question that could go when it comes to like diaspora staff or African staff or black staff and colored staff, where whatever group you're in, if you're seeing a behavioral pattern that's becoming quite prominent, when you're within that group, you want to step up. So how I would demonstrate that is black men, unfortunately, all over the world have not either. Many have strayed away and not wanted to marry black women, right? And also this new manosphere concept where black men are on podcasts mistreating black women. What black women need to see is black men stepping up to correct that. So if there is an issue with one parent black people or one parent biracial people, this kind of stuff, sabotaging progress, if we're seeing that, right, then you will need those people of the community, that particular sector, to stand up and correct that. And I think that could be a good strategy we have for all kinds of content, whether it's male, female, country, tribe, melanin arrangement, whatever it is, right? If we're seeing something, keeping quiet is never good, right? And to be part of the process for solutions, you see. But once again, I've just come from a talking podcast, and the biggest thing in that podcast was they weren't best pleased that we have rules that you have to marry a black woman, and this has caused mass anxiety, and they're going through a trauma at the moment because no one's ever had to question the importance of marrying black women, right? Because especially in the UK, it's like, how quickly can you marry a non-black woman? So obviously it requires black men to jump up and say this, and that's, I think, why one of the videos I've spoken about, I mentioned many things in that video, but it was the black love that seemed to go around a bit more than others, because obviously that's this is something that we haven't committed to.
Rap. The video that you showed about you being interviewed.
Yes.
Can you send a link for that in the chat room, please?
Yeah,
So
let me
I
see
want to
that.
watch that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And also, I think like especially to the American brother, I want to say this really quickly, and it's not going against you or anything like that, but the idea of one drop rule outside of America, especially for myself, means an idea of racial purity based on white people dictating the rule. So if you say you got one drop, that's just to show about racial purity, because it's an old I would say Iberian Spanish legacy, because if that was the adage, then I would be Indian from Southeast Asia, just to say. Biracialness in regards to the Caribbean and how we perceive it, it's more to do with culture. But the thing is that majority of people, even if you had an admixture, you would still marry those who are closest to you. So you could be half Indian, half black. Someone could be black, or even half white and black, and they marry that person based on some type of close proximity to blackness. It doesn't necessarily mean they're pro-black at all. It's just that's just the way it is. The same thing with the Asian people in the Caribbean. They marry people closest to being Asian, even if they have a black blood, European blood, but the majority of their genes are Indian. They marry someone who's majority Indian with a bit of Chinese and God knows what. Why? Because that's the proximity to what they are attracted to. You know. Yeah, I know. I hope I made sense.
No,
But,
yeah, I see what you're saying. The
I
dynamics.
just think like.
I'll go ahead, brother.
No, please.
Now, the dynamics. When I brought up the one drop rule, yeah, that was specifically for America, and they did that to have more slaves. It wasn't necessarily for the. I mean, because a lot of the people had if they did their DNA back then, somebody had some one drop of African, but it was for economic purposes why they did that. But when you look at like Brazil, Colombia, like they had like 16 different classifications, but it was all towards proximity to whiteness. So I see what you're saying. And I'm not saying that goes the one drop rule is necessarily everywhere, but again, as far as from us from a black community, majority of people that have any type of phenotypic or genotypic connection to black people will accept them, and it's not the case for any other race.
Yeah. So, I hear what you're saying. I think one thing so those who are new, what we do here, and this might be quite helpful to some of the brothers and sisters who are jumping. I'm just trying to find this explanation. So we practice we promote and practice a lifestyle known as Black Betterment. And if I could, there we go. But the lifestyle is split in between two kind of ways of operating, right? One is more highly concentrated in the actions you do. So we say a black betterer is a black betterer is a black person practicing lifestyle choice involving dedication to enhancing the livelihood of black people, specifically locally and globally in all areas of people activity, whenever it's constructively possible. So that person is going to admit that everything they do is B1, a black first, a black focus, a black betterment, right? So whether that person is have an admixture from the past, or they might have a grandparent, or they might be on the continent, or they might be in Brazil, and they might be slightly different because of the if they have African ancestry or black ancestry, and you can tell it, and they admit to that and they practice the lifestyle, most people won't have any issues, because once again, it's about ideologies over individuals, right? We have this thing called beneficial blackness, right? And what that means is, I think I had it somewhere. I like to think I did somewhere. There we go. So we have this. So we say that the 3 A's of beneficial blackness. You got aesthetics, ancestry, and action. Yeah. And the reason why we did this is because what we found is there were brothers, especially like maybe from the continent or wherever it might be, or people who were probably more darker in hue, but they were choosing to marry non-black women. And whenever you try to get black men to be constructive and marry black women, they'll say, well, we're from the continent, or we're dark skinned, so we are the authority of blackness, right? So we say, well, actually, we only care about beneficial blackness. And what that means is we can give you 10 out of 10 for your aesthetics. We can give you 10 out of 10 for your ancestry. And that's as much as we can give you. Everything else past that is called action, which is 8%. And what's most important is the members of the black community, whoever they might be, however they may look, working constructively for the solutions of black people. So in this process, there is an allegiance that you're defining. So you're defining that I am from the black community, or I'm from the African community, I'm from the whatever the term, Sun community, whatever you want to use, right? And you know, I will be given a whole load of energy, and my lifestyle will be of a black first nature. So if we have these concepts where people are admitting what they want to do, yeah, then you can work with them on a certain level because you know where they stand. Energy. Now, if you're talking about things that people are practicing deception, that's different. But I'm talking about agreeing with terms before you're moving on, and that's hopefully one method to minimize challenges of people undermining progress, which is a thing. I will tell you this stuff from my experience. The most people, and this is including two parent black people, one parent member, and non-black people. The people who are going to sabotage your progress the fastest, unfortunately, will be black people, as in two black parents, whatever. And this is because of the trauma, the sheer numbers, but the trauma. And what I find is, especially when I go on the internet, there is a coalition of those people mixed with non-black people who are anti-black, working together to undermine black progress when they hear of ideas that's dedicated to fix black issues. You see what I'm saying? But I would say this: if a person has allegiance to the woman group in the group, as in they're going to marry within the group, yeah, then this is one method of tracking consistency and you know, group economics and all that other good stuff, right? So family, we are dealing with a topic today. Feel free to jump in if you're new or not new. The topic we're dealing with is two very important topics, if I can find it. It's Black Betterment Algorithms. We discuss how understanding social algorithms can be beneficial, as well as Black biracial anxiety control. We discuss how to minimize anxiety within the biracial members of the community when promoting Black love. And we do recommend everything should be done from a tactical standpoint and not a traumatic standpoint. Very important. So when we're discussing this is all tactics we're talking about, and we definitely don't want to contribute to anxiety. And as it stands now, as it was in the past, all members are members and can do wonderful things. But I think there's just a talk about how to make sure that people don't have dual allegiances. This new word is very important. Dual allegiances, and might sabotage progress because we have so little resources. And also we're saying, how do we talk about Black love without it excluding or mistreating, allegedly mistreating one Black parent people? And it never should, because when we talk about Black love, it's the members picking someone and their offspring is not to be mentioned. But this is what we're talking about. Very, very, very touchy topic at times. Yeah, so any other person wants to jump in, feel free to jump in. Any questions from the panel, feel free to let us know. I'm just fixing something, so forgive the rattling. Yeah, so, but we're past the 1 hour. It's usually a 2 hour show. I think I did want to cover one other thing. This wasn't in the topic, but it's something that someone pressed me for a few months back, and I didn't do anything. But it's talking about personalities in the Black community. So, like I said, I'm not too sure of the full truth, but I know there's some things going on in the sense of in the States. But I think the brother actually moved out of the States to somewhere else. But there's a brother called Nature Boy. I think it's him, and he's a charismatic brother who I think believed in going back to the land. But he was doing problematic things before, and I think he's been arrested for life. So I think this is a brother. He had some kind of philosophy. He went to somewhere in South America, I believe, and he brought first a lot of Black people there, and I think he had some kind of Black empowerment concept. But I think when it comes to they started including all non-black people. So already this is a sign. And then I think they were contributing financially, which is, I guess, beneficial to him. And then he was also doing like the whole women thing, where he was, with lots of women and taking girlfriends of other wives and that kind of stuff. If you want to be polygynist, by all means, but have rules of marriage and this kind of thing. And yeah, I think he then started also being very well. Let's hear what it is, but this brother has been recently arrested, which I don't know what the crimes were, but I think for a lifetime with no possibility of parole. And he was kind of semi-famous in the kind of conscious. I know he had some history of being a porn star at some point, a gay porn star. So I think he went from a gay porn star to like some kind of black-based empowerment, vegan kind of something like this.
Yo, this is Nature Boy.
It is, yeah, that's right. So he's gonna press play.
Sorry, I had to take care of something, but yeah, he's been doing the rounds. Bruh.
Yeah, let's have a listen. So this is him when he started letting Europeans into his concept.
White people. It doesn't even make sense. There's only humanity in different vibrations of brown. Everything in nature is green and brown. Different shades of brown. When you go to the beach, what color is the beach? Brown. Tan brown. You see? So all of humanity is brown. Different shades of brown depending on the melanin vibrating in the MSH, the melano-stimulating hormone that they have in the body. Right. You can lose your brown. It's called vertigo. You can lose melanin and become less brown. Or you can gain melanin and become more brown.
Right. So this brother will probably do very well in Speaker's Corner, like this kind of charisma he has and stuff. But what I'm saying is and I don't know the full story behind his life and stuff, but what I would say is we want to wish the brother well, but we're going to be very careful. Sometimes brothers give us signs that maybe they've got something else going on. One of them is you start off with a pro-black concept, and then financially Europeans start becoming members, and then you have philosophies that says there is no, you have philosophies that this makes it so. And then there's some other things he was doing. Let's see if we can find it. Now, we're not to shoot this brother down because I don't know, but we're saying that these things are always predictable. We could also have another case of why someone gets so many years. That might be unfair, but I don't know. Let's see what else he's been saying.
Even going to no doctor to put no spell on me to sell medicine to me. I feel good. One person has herpes, that's a human being. We all have herpes. So I wanted to understand disease, to teach about disease.
So there's a lot of ideas he's dealing with that might be somewhat dangerous, and he needs to reevaluate it.
I feel that.
There was one other thing. I think this one. Was this one?
With my kids, I have sex in front of my kids. I never be ashamed of sex. My son be breastfeeding, I'll be making love to his mom. That's me, bruh. That's how I get down around kids.
Yeah. So this is So this is we never want to kick them out when they're down, but there was other brother who went to jail the other day as well, similar kind of stuff. Very charismatic brothers. And this is why we push for discipline, transparencies, and rules and codes, just so you don't become a cold personality. But once again, these kind of brothers will thrive in Speaker's Corner. This is what they like, this kind of thing. But yeah, rules and regulations, bro. Any questions?
Yeah, the cult of personality was strong with this one.
Yeah, so I think he's been arrested for. I don't know how it works in America, but is it life?
No, the cult of personality was strong with this guy. The video you saw, I saw something similar in regards to what's he saying? He's getting a life sentence, unfortunately. I'm even saying why, based on the madness that I see. A lot of crazy, a whole bunch of people out here doing some crazy shit. Excuse my language.
Yeah, try to be. We try to use that colorful language.
And for him to get life, he must have news. They tell you quarter of the story and not the rest. So I don't know to the extent of what he was doing, but that whole idea is that I'm making love to my woman with my kids around. When I first noticed Nature Boy on Instagram, and then all of a sudden, what the hell? He's getting life in prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what to say, honestly. What you said earlier about having a code and having discipline. Personally, for me, that is a personal thing for me. Trust me.
Yeah, and I agree, and that's what we try to have. Yeah, brother, you want to say that? Go ahead.
Yeah, I remember this brother used to. I don't know if I should call him brother based on his actions, but this male. I remember back when he used to go on this person in Brooklyn named Side Netter TV, and he would just be on there just trying to soak up knowledge. To me, this is a quintessential example of the drawbacks of the internet and people trying to be internet scholars before they even do any type of internal work or deal with the traumas that they have. Just that these people today are so gullible that if you have a little bit of knowledge and you it sounds good, people will follow you, and that's exactly what he did. And I mean, to me, even from the outset, bro, if the things he was saying, bro, they were just basic run of the mill regurgitated information that the quote unquote conscious community has been saying. But again, like people just gotta stop doing the internal work. Until you do that, you just gonna carry your trauma everywhere you go.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why we're here. We try to have messages of like
agree
discernment.
What you say.
I think discernment's important, but also set up a situation where it's for the collective. It's not the individual. It's the collective, and everyone chips in, and we hold each other accountable, and we have standards and codes, and we can see it. That's the thing when it comes to women and men around women, and then that's one of the tests where men become undisciplined, especially cult leaders, or not only just cult leaders, but cults personalities, whatever. But also memberships, like shifting your membership for financial reasons. One thing about Black Betterment is a lifestyle that teaches Black people with Black people. So once we start talking about non-Black people, then it's no longer the Black Betterment concept; it's something else. And that's why we have to establish who Black members are. That's why we're talking about biracial, just understanding that if they are members, and they are, then there's an expectation that as a member, you're doing all the things for the Black collective, and there is no dual allegiance in that process. You can have your individual lifetime of fun or do what you're doing, but when it comes to the lifestyle and things you're doing, you dedicate your life to Black Betterment and Black people progressing. And if not, then it's probably not a lifestyle for you. So that might be easier solution to deal with certain challenges. It's a mess. There we go. I think I fixed
Facts.
it. Yeah. Well, anyone, family who's in the group, if you wish to jump in, feel free to jump in. Definitely. To have your say. If you came across any videos on the internet and you wanted to say your piece, jump in. Usually people, they want to say things, but when they come on the show, when they hear the format of the show, they kind of lose the energy because it's not what they expected. I think they expected more shouting and kicking, and we don't do that. Big up Brother Cal as well in the place, very important contributor to Black Broadcast, as well as Brother Dominic, as well as Sister Christian, and all the other people in the place.
Brother Cal's. I just think this is a very interesting topic. I find it ironic that the conversation I was having yesterday with like an old friend of mine in regards to again saying pro-Black or whatever, having a 4-year. I said I was saying.
I think
like, yo, if you fall in love with someone, That's your problem. I'm beside you. But I don't get. I understand why people believe in pro-blackness in regards to how can you be pro-black and then have a non-black. Don't poo-poo on people who they just tend to fall in love with whoever. And I remember speaking to you about this like a few years ago, and you asked me the question why. I like the fact that you challenged what I said, because I think in the UK, I think a lot of black men. This is going to sound. Well, it doesn't sound real actually. I think a lot of black men are not chasing the system. I don't think they are. I think when it comes to us who are both African and West Indian, I don't think there's enough of us actually marrying and making babies. I really wish that was the case, but it doesn't seem to be the way. Like they're chasing everything else. Let's say on that one.
Yeah. So yeah, I hear that, brother. And yeah, I think I don't know if you were here when we mentioned this concept about I think I got it somewhere. You might have heard it. Very important as well. It's called. So you can find it. There we go. Failure fabrication and success simulation. And what I notice is whenever I talk about black love or black economics,
I wasn't there. No.
Yeah, what happens is people they create a failure fabrication to test it. So I'll say, well, you know, we construct a black man, construct a black woman. They go, oh well, what if the woman is wicked and beats you with a massive stick and she throws coconuts at your head? And it's like, okay. What they don't do is that they don't say, well, what if you found the perfect woman, and then that demonstrates why black love is important. And then when they talk about the non-black woman, the Europeans, and they go, what if the European flew from the heavens with golden wings and gave you the best jollof rice of all time? And it's like they really have this success simulation for non-black things, but failure fabrication for black things. So this is the term I recognize we use when we go, oh, bro, that's a failure fabrication, you see. Why don't you tell me a story of when you found a black woman and in your story, the world is now it's full of black beautiful women that you discovered, and then you're part of the solution process, whatever. So this is what is we do this as in we're part of that process. We try to create stories to undermine black love or black economics or whatever it might be, right? Yeah, when I was promoting black economics in Speaker's Corner, I remember the gentleman just says, "Look, I might do something with you, but if you know you've got a black man as a treasurer, I won't do anything." You see, so they already create these concepts that black people might be dodgy with the stuff, and that's why I say that when we started, they're talking about some things that people might do, but I say it's best when you have members not to assume they do something, even though the likelihood might increase because of certain close proximity, but say that we have a protocol of members, and all you have to go, everyone has to go for the protocol, and this definitely strengthens, lowers the chance of self-sabotage, right? But we don't try to exclude people by how they're born, but by their actions. Yeah, so you're either in the community or you're not, and once you're in the community, you're allowed to achieve based upon your actions and your commitments and your oaths, or I say your black Betterment bond. You make a bond, and maybe we start having cultural concepts where people are given like open, like today I'm going to practice black Betterment for this reason, and people like they record the day they decide they want to be consistently constructed towards black progression. So it's a thing. It's like people have the black Betterment bond day. It was on December the 20th that I commit myself to black Betterment. So it's now a thing in the culture where this person has declared he wants to be a black betterer or a builder, but we'll say better for now. And they declared that on the 25th of February or whatever, right? And that's their bond day, or their black Betterment bond day, or whatever it is, or commitment or something like that. So what we do here, for those who are new, is we try to think of frameworks that black people can use to find solutions. So sometimes people come and they go straight to the end. They go, well, we should just do that. I'm like, what made you get there? Let's try to unpack that. And let's try to think of a concept or a framework that works in black people's collective best interest. So we try to use tactics over trauma. What you find, especially here in the internet, Speaker's Corner community and stuff, is a lot of it is driven by trauma. So we try to give you a method to deal with that trauma in yourself, but also how to deal with the traumas of others. And we say that whenever you tell a black person about these things, this is the grid we use. Oh, I've got something else to show as well. I should bring up. Where's that grid? Have I gone past it? I've probably gone past it. Like, I should really have a button that skips channels and things like. There's 170. I mean, this stuff is a lot. I mean, we've been doing all the work for so long now that we've got database upon database. But we've got something that we call the 5 stages of grief. Well, it's a famous thing, but we've utilized it for what we're doing, and it's here we go, the 5 stages of grief. So whenever you when black people find out about global anti-black racism, being collectively inadequate, thank you, family, and collectively having no friends, they go through the 5 stages of grief, which is denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance. And we're saying that once you've accepted it, you have a choice to go continue as you were, or to practice and promote black betterment. You see. So in this time here is where someone is admitting, whether it's some kind of ceremony or some kind of sign, where this is a special thing. So this actually is a special thing, the joining of a lifestyle. It's like, I am going to be committed to helping black people progress. You see? So this is something that we should think about, how we want to make that kind of concept. There's something else I was going to bring up as well. There's something that we're talking about, which is called the diffusion of innovation. Here it is. And what I've done is I've rejigged it just so it's more blackified, whatever, right? But what it's talking about is actually, when it comes to black people changing, you just need a smaller number, which is 2.5, which we have here, right? So when I go and I speak, I'm actually trying to find what I describe as the black betterment innovators, right? And that is the innovators are the architects and engineers of black betterment, meaning the people who are going to come up with the ideas and find out how to refine them so they can be used amongst people. So ideas like black love, ideas like each one teach one, ideas, like black schools or black philosophies or whatever, right? That has to be crafted and it has to be tailor-made for black people wherever you find those people. We call the innovators, and I would say that in every black community around the world, that will be made up of 2.5%. That's like a history of how innovation works, right? So those 2.5% of the innovators are working together. Now, once they come up with these concepts, right? So a person who introduces new methods and ideas and products, you then have the influencers, which is 22.5%. Yeah, a person with the ability to influence by promoting on social media, right, or other mediums, whatever, right? So we didn't have that. So these 2 positions we are calling the critical mass or the open door elite. Yeah, anyone can be in them. It's probably easier to be influenced than it is innovative, to be honest, right? But you can be in there by wanting and being dedicated. Now, what happens is once you do that and you hit that critical mass of 25%. You then get the black betterment imitators, and imitators is a correct term. It's a constructive term. We all in the world imitate, but what happens is we're imitating people who ideas that don't work in our collective best interest. So essentially, what the black influencers and innovators are doing is that we are creating a way of living that is in black people's collective best interest, rather than copying groups that have done things for their best interest, right? So what happens is they won't know they're imitators because like black people today don't know that we're self-destructive or collectively inadequate. We're just following the script and culturally adapting to failure, right? So the idea is we then rebrand that, we redo that, we get the influencers and the innovators to come up with these concepts that we're doing here, and then they won't even know. And then naturally, you're always gonna have 60% who are the idlers, right? They're going to avoid any, they're not going to get involved, and that's to be expected. But once we hit this kind of percentage ratio, we're in a good place. So this is the diffusion of innovation, aka the 3 eyes of innovation, right? We need the innovators, the influencers, and the imitators. You see, and this is the new model that I'm pushing out and testing. But that's what we kind of do here for those who are joining, and everyone's welcome to join in to help with the framework. But if there's anyone who's got any questions, feel free to jump in. Your opinion matters, especially those who saw some of the videos and had a lot to say. Feel free to jump in. We don't bark and bite here. We literally try to unpack, and we just ask that you practice discernment when you come on, discipline, dignity when you come on if possible. So let's see if there's any questions. So let's see if there's on our I know there's been conversations going on.
Yeah, I'd like to see a few more people join.
Yeah.
I have a question in regards to the critical mass.
Go ahead, Frank.
So when a critical mass coalesces, would it suffice for that critical mass to then separate from the I would say from the common people that are doing it for a certain period of time and then reintegrate within a specific area? Then there will be more amped to be influenced because you have a more stronger power base and discipline.
Well, brother, you're talking about strategy, so that might be a good strategy, bro. That might be a good strategy that is pushed in certain areas across the board. What we're tracking, I'm trying to mute you for 7 seconds, family. Hold on. What we're tracking, on mute. Where's that coming? Oh, there you go. Sorry. Yeah. So what we're doing here is we're saying that this is if you Google the diffusion of innovation concept, right? This is how in marketing ideas will come in. So, for example, there's a new dance in California or in London, and in 5 months it's around the world. Everyone knows the dance. Well, we're figuring that we can introduce a lifestyle, yeah. That's how it is. So the idea is people won't even know what group they are part of because it's by osmosis, but we will know because the innovators and the influencers are talking, and before you know it, it'll be hard to discern from the influencers and the imitators because they're going to be behaving the same, and they're all going to say, "I started and I started then." But that's what you want. You want ideas that are constructive to just be free flowing amongst the community. But if you have a strategy that you think can improve that, by all means, and we can test that, or we can try to say this is what we want to do. And sometimes separating from certain people groups might be a good strategy. I don't know. We're always here, always.
I just think for a lot of people, it's extremely difficult to outweigh the influence that the dominant society has. So I think anybody who would naturally be a black betterer just by nature, I think I think a critical mass would need to coalesce and make what we're doing strong enough to where we can have an influence on people. Because I think I just don't know if the general public would be open to that based on the influence that the regular power structure has. It's going to be hard to do it, and then you're going to have people within that are influenced by outside the people that's not black better.
You're absolutely right, and this is then. So I'm just going to break it down. So sorry, family, we're getting very technical here, but sometimes we have to because some people ask more deeper questions and we have to unpack it. So when we talk about the innovators, which is 2.5%, we could break that down to a percentage of what we call the architects and what we call the engineers, right? So 1 to 5% of that 2.5% will be the architects, and those people are going to come up with the exact programs and concepts of dealing with that issue. So how do we create ideas that are long lasting? How do we create philosophies, templates, concepts that is self-sustaining? So if I give you an example here, let me show you something. When you look at religion, many religions, they have this philosophy here. It's a very interesting philosophy. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah. So what they say is in some religions, they say that good things happen because of God. See, this is a concept, right? And bad things happen because of the devil. Now, the reason why this is a very interesting and good idea is because what you have in the faith group now, whatever this is they're saying that you have a concept to always have good be represented by God and always have bad be represented by devil as a concept. So it never undermines what good is. And so that means someone is always best pleased with God and always not best pleased with the devil. That way, they don't undermine their particular belief. Now, how a concept like that can work in Black Bearman, right, is as follows. You can say that when Black people constructively work together for the benefit of Black people, this is because of Black Bearman. So anytime Black people work together, we say that's Black Bearman, right? But anytime Black people and non-Black people undermine Black Bearman, this is because of the double dilemma, which has been collected now and having our friends, right? So you have this circular kind of concept where you know that this concept can never be defeated in the minds of people because it only represents success. That's what it represents and what we want happening. So these are the kind of frameworks and ideas that you can teach. Because right now, if you can teach a people group to hate themselves, which is actually technically harder than to love yourselves, right? Then there should be a method to make us love each other. But you are right that the dominant society will keep on rejigging and this is why it comes to our definition. In I think brother Amos, he was saying that in the 80s or not early 90s, I think it was, he was saying there's this new concept of mixed race. And he says this is a new concept that people are going to use to divide the black community. They're going to talk about mixed race, and they're going to use it to have blacks and mixed race, right? And he was, I think I can't remember the show it was, but I saw it. It's very interesting. But it's that kind of concept that whenever you're doing something, someone will come in and do a kind of rejigging, and then they'll change the whole dynamics. And I'm saying we always need to have methods to deal with that, right? And we have those methods here. So then what ends up happening is there's anxiety from the black person looking at the biracial person, because they're now the other, you see? And we have to have solutions to that concept. And that's why we came up with this concept here, which is the sun people, which is just a template term made by a black man. And that is the African, the black, and the colored are all under the umbrella of some people. And we say black, say black people or African people or colored people or the sun people are a collection of a collection working for protection and perfection. You see? That way you minimize anxiety by saying you're a group in a group working for the collective best interest of those groups, rather than saying we're using one term that might cause anxiety. When we're in a better place and the innovators come up with things, we can have this one term concept, whatever it is. But for now, this is a way to minimize anxiety and to try to stop people from undermining progress. But remember, everything we say here, brothers and sisters, is tactics, you see? Not trauma, but tactics. How can we use tactics to benefit our collective group? And that's why you guys have come to the Black Betterment Broadcast, and you are all part of the solution. All of you. Voila. Good stuff. Oh, yes.
The first black and white you showed before, I'm trying to remember the name of what you said. In regards to was mixed race concept. I can't remember what it was, but that's what I identified with. I having knowledge and in particular and knowing how to use it is definitely something that should always be passed down. I don't know if I could say we're very open within our own collective. I think there's a lot of people who are like-minded, like yourself. They're trying to, the idea of black betterment. I remember you being in the park all those years ago.
That's right.
And I said to myself, oh, someone finally gets it. And I always question why people question. Like, it's not about just agreeing with you, but I never understood why people didn't get it. Like, it's a very simple concept to understand about black betterment. And that has a lot to do with understanding yourself and understanding those around you who are, let's say, quote unquote, African diaspora. No religion, no political affiliations or anything like that. I don't care about none of that. I will speak to you about that if I need to. Like, for example, I can separate myself between being a nationalist as far as this country is concerned to speaking to my own people. I tend to find speaking to my own people is quite hard. I don't know if it's a phenotypical thing. I don't know if it's a mental thing. I have no idea. But I still think like I'm very, very kind of optimistic. So I believe in the best of our people to move forward. Like when Tribe Called Quest made a song like the space program, one of the best hip hop songs I've heard in years. Makes sense to me, but I don't know. Maybe in New Eden, wherever that may be, we probably might carry the same legacy with us. I don't know. I think Baba Renunko Rashidi said the same thing. That we can go to New Africa, New Eden, we still practice the same trauma. However, I still believe in the betterment of our people to be a bit more thoughtful. Yeah.
Well,
so I don't know. I wasn't trying to have a rant or anything. But
no, it's good. So before we introduce the new guest, big up the sister. But before she jumps in, just a quick answer. We've identified why when brothers go to public places and talk about concepts of I'll mute you for 5 seconds, bro. When we talk about black betterment concepts, why they kick back and they do get it, but we're triggering trauma. So once we discuss this stuff, they go through the 5 stages of grief. and we can actually pinpoint what they're doing. We've got a framework for it now, and what we find is the same people after they've done that, they in private they come up and they go, "Yeah, I understand," or they keep quiet, or they're more calm towards it because they understand that this is the way that black people are going to progress, and because of their actions, they might not be able to do it at the best level. I'll be honest with you, a lot of this stuff, if I'm being honest, comes from not choosing a black woman. If ever you want to see black men, me speaking to black men, that what causes the most anxiety, without question, is when I say black love, it really, because I think there was some Asian guy on some show I heard where I think he started screaming, shouting, saying like, "Well, it's just something like this Raven guy that they're talking about. I don't know why they keep pushing me forward, but the things he's talking about, that means most of the black people, or he said every black person at Speaker's Corner can't do it because they've all got European girlfriend. So this is the anxiety that we're dealing with, you see. So you have to be merciful to them. Well, welcome, Melanie goes to the broadcast. Welcome back, Bremen, to you.
Black Betterment to you. Black Betterment to the other brothers on the panel and everybody in the chat. I did miss some of the video portion. I got a phone call and like I saw the beginning, and then like I heard you explaining the topic about biracials and like making them feel more open to actually practice Black betterment. Is that what today's topic is about?
Yeah, let me find it. So it's biracial anxiety control. We discuss how to minimize anxiety within the biracial members of the community when promoting Black love. One reason why I did this because naturally there's many things that happen when I promote Black love, right? But one of them is people start miscuing Black love and they start centering the offspring of the unions as the topic. And what we're saying is we've never mentioned them. And though the offspring of biracial unions are always welcome, as historically, to practice Black betterment, but they have to uphold all the rules, right? And what my thing is making it very clear that I'm not speaking about biracial children. I'm speaking about the choice of the Black parent not to pick a Black woman, right? And that's important. And that historically, people with one Black parent have been allowed to practice a form of betterment amongst the Black community. And that they're equal members in the action, and I've never questioned that, right? But I think we use this video here as a way to see. Now, this brother is using Christianity to define his, or at least allegedly, to define why he goes against Brother Umar's concept. But where is it? Umar rapper.
No, I did see that video. I think he has a big fro or something like that, and he said that you're not doing what God.
Yeah, that one.
You know, like you're following what man is saying and not what God is saying, and that's not.
Yeah, and the reason why that's why it's very important when you talk about Black love and Black economics, this kind of stuff, while you give examples, so you don't allow other people to interpret their own kind of concept. Because black people, we're at a very big disadvantage whenever we talk about Black things. So you have to, and that's why I say the double dilemma is a very good tool to use. It, like I said, it's a very successful tool for me when I go out in the internet world and I'm talking about why we do things. Once again, naturally people would call us Black supremacists, but then now they're saying, how can they be Black supremacists when they're admitting that unfortunately they're collectively inadequate and collectively have no friends? So it's everything we do is spelling out what we're doing, yeah. And I think sometimes we don't need to create unnecessary disagreements when the truth is so much more powerful, yeah. If obviously Brother Umar has his own technique of how he wants to do things, but how I would handle that is I would definitely always define why Black men need to be with Black women, which he does do anyway. But obviously people cut and chop. But yeah, but carry on. Sorry, sis, I jumped in.
No. I mean, so what has been while I was on the phone, I was able to see a little bit of the chat, and I saw like Stanley saying he don't belong here or something like that. Like, what was the temperament of the show? What would you say?
Well,
was the anxiety high or?
well, I don't know about in not amongst the panel, but a lot of the brothers in this panel seem to have a history of being able to control their emotions and probably have done quite some few active work here and there. But Brother Stan is a unique one because he's important in the sense of he's our stress test in the sense of we know that he sees things how most unsynchronized black people think. So he can give us an insight of how the self-sabotage might work. But I think on the panel that we were joined by a new brother, Brother Truth here, and he was talking about he's very suspicious, or we should be suspicious about people with one black parent because of dual allegiances, you see. And historically, there has been cases where that has been problematic. So we were just kind of building of how to deal with such things and stuff.
Well, I mean, I think I definitely can see. I see strength in it. You know, strength in like a biracial person choosing to date and marry.
Oh, so have you been cut, sis? You might have been cut. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Now we can. I think you got cut. Every time you say something constructive, I think the algorithm cuts you. Say again.
I was saying I can see value in a biracial person choosing to marry, date, and procreate with a black person.
Right.
I can't help but also think about that dual aspect of their identity and how realistic is it? Is it like would that person have to denounce their whiteness? Like because they would like if they're part European, I'm saying. Because technically they're part European. So you know, how do they navigate, you know, being a member of the black community while still being part white? Like do they not acknowledge, you know, the important days that are more important in the white community? Do they dress different, eat different? Are they able to kind of have one foot in both communities because both communities are a reflection of them, of their identity? And I think that part makes it challenging.
What we were saying before was there's certain major things we can track. I was talking about this in the other group. So whenever I talk about black love, there's some guy, oh, you know, but there's some beautiful women here, there, and you know, you can't monitor people. But I was saying I don't walk around and watch black men's beds, right? But what we do monitor is the marriage, the mortgages, and the motherhoods, because those are big things that connect you to bigger groups. So the same thing with, I guess, mixed biracial, part black, or these kind of talking points community. Whatever you do in your kind of spare life with your family, that's your thing, right? But it's the major things, and like who are you marrying? What is your economic goal? What when you go onto social, what are you promoting? Do you support reparations? Blah blah blah. This kind of stuff, right? So it's making sure that you have a B1 mentality, like if you're this is the concept we accept, and the brother was saying that you can have, if you can't guarantee that, then maybe you have like certain things where there's certain things they can do, but they're not expected to do certain other things. Yeah. So this is the thing.
So I still don't really get what you're saying about the biracial and their dual identity. How does that? Do you acknowledge that they have a dual identity?
Well, yeah, I think everyone acknowledges they have a dual. Well, let's say dual identity. They have dual family members, right? As in, they have members of the family who are not black, or not.
No, I'm talking about who they are.
Right.
It's they have two separate, and you could even see like opposite aspects that both comprise who they are. Not just about having family members, What I'm saying is that like if I had a white mom, there's certain things about that experience of having a white mom that shapes and molds and is part of my identity. If I have a black dad, then there's things that you see what I'm saying. I think it's kind of like if we can understand how someone could having a black dad, you're like, okay, well, you were probably exposed to this, you were probably da 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 da, right? So like that also holds true for having a white mom. So that's part of their identity.
Yeah, maybe. And that's the thing. I think these are good points. I think when we talk about Black Burma, we talk about, I guess, members and to the degree and what's expected. So regardless of whether someone is biracial, born in the diaspora, born in the continent, born here, being adopted, the lifestyle is very clear. Black people helping Black people on Black issues whenever it's constructively possible. So that's what matters, and the constructive things you do there. Now, as a community, we have to determine what we want to happen, right? What's best. But if someone doesn't agree with that kind of concept, they don't need to practice it, or they don't need to join. So I'm very clear that I'm not talking directly to all Black people. I'm talking to Black people who practice Black betterment. You see, and that's important. And if someone doesn't want to, that's fine. But when we are doing our marketing campaigns and our rebranding, we're by osmosis going to be changing the mindset of how people perceive things.
But I guess what I'm saying is that like it's very possible for a person who has a European parent and they want to be very intentional about dating and marrying a Black person.
Yes.
But they don't mind shopping at a white store or buying clothing from a white person, and they're part white. You see what I'm saying? Like so like
let's unpack this. So that's important what you said. Very, very good points. What I'm saying is when you're Black focused, right? You're always longing to do the Black variant of what you're talking about. Today, because of how things are set out, many Black people will shop everywhere, right? And to be honest, even when Black betterment is achieved, I suspect we're going to be shopping in other places anyway. But it's more so what they want to do and what they action. So I would treat them shopping in a European store the same as I would treat a two Black parent person in a store, right? But it's more so, are they longing or are they trying to actually economically promote Black business and shopping Black businesses? That way I won't need to track them. How they treat Black people will make me how much I need to track them when they're not here, right? If someone is so on it and so doing it consistently, I don't need to worry. They're synchronized with the ideology. But if they're wishy-washy or they're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, then you'll see that. And that means, okay, there's certain things that they won't be afforded because they're not ready for that. They're not compatible with that concept.
But the only comment I have towards them being wishy-washy is they're biologically wishy-washy. They have two different genotypes within them. That's what I'm saying. Like I understand what you're saying as far as from like a standpoint of there's always going to be that outlier, but for a general rule based, and this is just based on me based on my anecdotal experience with people that are biracial, they are some of the most confused people that I've ever met in my life.
Yes. I hear that, and I think what we want to do is have a framework where let me speak that. Have a framework where we can try to ease that confusion with dedicated guidance. Like you're confused because you have two conflicting people groups coming together, and they haven't resolved that kind of in that war, but yet you're here in the presence of both. However, amongst the Black collective, we're in an adequate place, and these are the things we need. But loyalty to the idea is key. So if you're going to be a part around it, these are the things we expect you to do. If you do not do them, then you're better off doing whatever you're doing before you came here, just smiling, walking around. So rather than, it's like there's another scenario in the UK, right, where there's certain people from certain parts of Africa that seem to be more likely not wanting to associate with other people from different parts of Africa, right? And we see this; it happens around the world, but let's say in UK. Rather than some people say that we should connect that entire nation. So that entire nation cannot practice black betterment because so many of them seem to have this ideology. What we say is, we understand that many might be that way, but we have a lifestyle that if one of them wants to do it, they're permitted, and we focus on the one and we ignore the 99. So by them admitting they want to do it and they're consistent with it, we don't need to worry that many people in their continent or their country is unsynchronized, because something might be causing that, and that could be the same thing we afford to the biracial people, as in like there might be just that 1 or 2 or 5 or 20 that are just them as people, they get it, like regardless of how they're raised, or maybe there's a scenario where they're biracials who are adopted by 2 black parents or something. I don't know what you have to your scenario, right? But either or, they get it, right? And just like we're going to see a person with 2 black parents who just doesn't get. Matter of fact, I see that every day. That's not a shock, right? But what I'm not doing is I'm not putting that on their having 2 black parents. Although I see why we can put on them having 1 black parent, which is very true. However, I know there's a chance that someone can have overcome that or view things differently for them, and that's why it's about people who do want to be consistent rather than having rules saying this tribe can and this tribe can't. That's how we experiment. Now, if that fails, then by all means we can introduce something new. But that's what I would recommend. The family.
So the biracial person choosing to be with a black person, is that them practicing black betterment?
Yeah, that's one of the. So with black betterment, it's more than one process, right? But that is a fundamentally important one. That fundamental, like who you pick for your life partner, who's going to inherit your wealth, who's going to be your connection to everyone else, all this kind of stuff, right? This is important. So if a biracial person picks someone within the community, right, then that's fine. Yeah, but then there's obviously other things, that we have to track. But we have to be able to list things that are very important for our community. So in this meeting, rather than saying that I don't think that this person from this nation or this person from this color group or shade group is going to be loyal, I think we should have things that we define as loyal, are necessary, are beneficial, and go, okay, all members of the community can do this. And that way, I think this will lower anxiety, but also separate, the those who are serious and those who are not. And we never need to focus on those who don't. But what we're going to see is, you might find one. So if you have a 10-member concept, you might have one who's from the continent, one who's from America, two's from Jamaica, one who's biracial, one who's was a black guy adopted by a European or whatever. Do you know what I mean? And but then they've overcome or they agree because of the lifestyle they've gone through that makes them feel that way. So, for example, you might, when we talk about the biracial experience, if we're going by this concept of experience, you might have a biracial person who was raised by a black person and a European person. And because they were heavily mistreated by the European side non-stop, right, that all they want to do is practice black betterment. That's all they want to do. Because of that experience, right? That can happen. I'm not saying that's the norm, but that can happen. So if that is the case, by all means, there's a lifestyle they can practice that they can do unhinged.
But see, that approach, when you if your approach to help black people is based upon how one side of your family treated you, that I don't think that's not going to be a good solid foundation. Because what if that changes? What if the white power structure is more accepting to them? Then they're going to be wavering.
Well, let me say this, right? I live in the UK, right? And some people live in Canada, live in America, and many people have gone through many challenges, with non-black people, right? And we practice a lifestyle for our own betterment. But let's say that tomorrow, by a magical kind of wave of the wand, all racism is gone, we still practice black women. Like self-sustain is a concept, right? And someone is agreeing they're part of something and they want to thrive with that something. So regardless of if the good, maybe something motivated them there, but they're now part of that cultural group. It's kind of like I saw Jehovah's Witness women. I think they were trying to convert them into maybe they were Jehovah's Witness, or they were Seventh-day Adventists, one of them, right? And I think they had some Muslim guy tried to convert them to Islam, and they're saying, "Mate, you're 20 years too late. Like I'm ingrained in the culture. It's like whether it's true or not is no longer an issue for me. It's like this is what I do every it's part of my life. I can't change. Like I'm not going to learn something new, whether it's true or not. And I think when you become ingrained in something, that could be your experience. Like, well, this is what I'm about. So even though things have changed, this is my life. I'm a black bearer. I'm pro-black. I'm B1. You could argue maybe Bob Marley had that. I don't know. You have to ask him. But this is the kind of thing that we can think about.
You can argue Bob Marley had what?
As in because he was raised by the Rastas. He was very. A lot of his philosophies, all his philosophies were pro-black and black first and this kind of stuff, and that's what he believed. And so, regardless of if he met his dad and his dad was the nicest person of all time, whatever, it's not going to change the necessity to build up Africa.
But he's not a good example. Bob Marley had a black woman, and then went to be with non-black women, and he has a white father, right? So he has that dual part of his identity.
Right.
So he just chose to be with a woman that's similar to his aunt or his grandma, or you see what I'm saying? Like, so I don't think that that's the best example. I think there was a part of his life where he, he lived that way, and I think that's what the brother's trying to say, is that based off of when you're a hot boy now, people are seeing you online, people are you're getting attention. He became a celebrity, and now he had more access to non-black women, and he took the bait. And if there was no more racism, right, and black people who were fists in the air, red, black, and green, you don't know how they would respond if they were embraced and accepted by white people, because the psychology of it is, this is something that they've been wanting and upset about and fighting and for so long. Like, think about black people who had their own, like, I didn't think it like this at first, right? I was, white man is bad. I just kind of came to this understanding, into this community in that way. And when I started to learn about Black Wall Street and all of the other Rosewood, all of the other black communities that black people started literally right after slavery. And then when I learned about the civil rights movement, which was, a different time period, I never really drew the connection. I will have to say it did take other people to highlight that black people who had their own restaurants, who had their own cleaners, had their own schools, they fought to be accepted. They wanted to eat at the white restaurants. They wanted to put their clothing in the white cleaners. They wanted to go to the white schools. You know what I'm saying? And fought for that. So right now, we're not doing all of that, but we don't like the racism. We don't like getting, killed unarmed by the police. We don't like all the stereotype and so forth. If there was some sort of like acceptance and embrace, like a honest or feel something that felt genuine, black people might be really happy.
I agree.
Because psychologically, it's like a weird type of white worship.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now, what I say to this, right? hopefully, I think what you've demonstrated is that that concept can be amongst any member of the community, whether they're one parent or two parents, or born on the continent or born wherever. That's how white supremacy works, right? So that's why I say a rule set for members, meaning once you agree to these oaths or these concepts, then this is what we see you as until you fall short, right? And I think that's what it is, that regardless of the parenting or the country born in, you're going to get someone, it's hard to determine who's just going to be completely flabbergasted by acceptance of non-black people. And that's what we're working on here. But family, this has been a fantastic speech or talk, right? And all the new brothers who've jumped in, you're always welcome. We're usually a 2-hour show. We've gone 15 minutes over. So is there any last words you family members would like to say at the moment? Oh, so you're backstage. Oh, so you want to, sorry, Stanley. So let Stanley have his last thing before.
You know what? I've been here for about 10 minutes. I think you not letting me on, you noticed about 10 minutes ago. I think you not letting me say my piece speaks volumes about your knowledge of how it is to be black. I'm simply ashamed. You don't like controversy. You make everything a case study, and you don't know shit about being black.
Why you gotta curse, Stanley? You know he doesn't want cursing on the show.
Oh, my bad. You don't know darn tootin' about how it is to be black. Stay over in UK.
There you go.
Wait, Stanley, is black only in the US?
You know what? Of course it's not. But my point is Raven does not know what black is. One of my big criticisms is black is very particular. Black in UK is not black in the US. And
it's not the same as black in Jamaica.
Nope.
It's not the same as black in
you are absolutely
Benin,
right.
in Angola. It's not the same as black in Gambia. So how can you say he doesn't know what it is to be black? He doesn't know what it is to be a black American, but you can't say he doesn't know what it is to be black.
Is black uniform? Is it?
You just said
black homogenous? Is black? You just made my point. Black in Angola is not black in Jamaica, etc.
So, Brother Stanley, before we end, what do you reckon triggered you to respond this way?
Don't ask me the question I'm preaching.
Okay, of course. Well, for those
being black is speaking your mind, by the way.
There you go. So those who are new, Brother Stanley is a person.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Stanley is being black.
No, Stanley, why are you doing that? You are bringing, he brought you up to allow you to speak, and instead of speaking, you're in attack mode. I didn't hear anything from earlier in the show.
I'm not attacking.
Hold on, Stanley. I was actually curious to hear your position on the topic at hand because I know you have a mixed race or biracial child.
He's black.
Right, but he's white.
In America, he mixed race? Mixed race is Britain. In America, he's black.
Biracial. So in America, we do have the term biracial.
In America, is he biracial according to the U.S. Census?
You can definitely. It depends on what he selects. They don't select it for him. What are you saying, Stanley? I'm answering your question very directly. I'm saying that it depends on
answer. My biracial
child,
and he's certainly absolutely
answered the question. He's biracial.
Yes.
So
well,
that's not
answered the question. No, I said my son is black. Did I not? Did you not hear this?
Does he not have a white mother?
Yeah, and
okay, then
he is black. We don't live in London. I live outside of Atlanta. He is black.
Well, in my state, he would be biracial, and you can't tell me that I'm
your
incorrect.
State?
Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna wait.
Okay. You know what? I don't want. Yeah. Here's a
second. Just let me say this. So this is
If
a good
you're
case.
gonna mute, I'm out. I don't get muted.
Sorry, go with me, bro, because
I am done with your slides.
There you go.
I gave my answer.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. So we're just gonna
Mel, you have my answer. My son is black. Any problems with that? And yeah, he had the white mother. Tell me the problem with that.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is
I asked Mel, not you, Raven.
I'm just gonna move
Let
you
the
down.
woman.
I will tell you that I do. I would definitely include his child
Hold on.
into the
Hold on.
community.
Sister. What I'm saying is, the way I would like us to observe this is how these topics cause great anxiety and trauma, and the brother's going through the 5 stages of grief. But what I would say is, this is why we have these kind of terms here. We things where it's like, because what we do is we call it the name drain, where call him this, call him that. He's not this rules of that. And I'm saying that's fine, right? But understanding the Arkin community, or what we say, a collection of a collection, is important. So that way we're not arguing and fighting over terms that we once used before, or this term there, or where it might be. Now, only Stanley can identify why he's triggered by trauma, and sometimes they don't pronounce it; they just become angry. But what is this is why. So one thing I don't do now is I don't declare people. I say we're here to help the African, Black, and colored community, the Sun people, and whichever one you identify with, you're welcome to join by practicing this lifestyle known as Black Betterment. You see, so
I like that.
So this makes it easier, because what Brother Stanley's going through, he's a good case study, because what he's going through is what many Black men who don't marry Black women go through, and we have to be very merciful to their behavior. So we bring Stanley to say goodbye, but welcome, Stanley. But hopefully this way will help you minimize anxiety.
I don't watch your show to get minimized. I watch your show to tell you how it actually is with Black people. That shit in London over at Speaker Square or whatever it's called.
Right.
Okay, if you think it's Black.
Yeah, of course.
I have a question. Colored. What did you mean by colored, Raven? Like, who would the color? Like, is it you're using it like based off of the terminology from in the past, or
I'll break it down. So it's a bit deeper than look. So give me 5 seconds, Brother Stanley. So what it is we use the term ABC community. It's just a branding concept. But African with a K is the Black person. What is the Black African born in Sub-Saharan Africa? Obviously, Brother Stanley's going to keep laughing because that he's part of that thing to try to undermine progress.
So Black is a branding. Oh my Lord!
No, oh my gosh! Can you let him finish, and then you can ask a question instead of interrupting?
I might have to remove me a bit, Brother Stanley.
You have total right to to object to what he's saying, but let's just have that order. So, once he's done, then you can ask him.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Black people are the people in the diaspora who come from the continent, and that's the term given. And colored we're using a concept that is in South Africa at the moment, where they have African mixed with non-African ancestry. Also, historically in the diaspora, a people of color has been used, right? So this this star means that these also have other terms. So colored could also mean pardo, or it could mean biracial, or mixed black, or whatever term people use. It's irrelevant. We're talking about tropes, right? And it's more of a branding term. So whenever Brother Stanley become anxiety, rather than saying your kids are colored, your kids are African, your kids are Black, we say, well, this grid covers everyone, and if they qualify in there, then they could be the Sun people, right? And that's all people, a collection of a collection working for protection and perfection. The reason is because the drain game is a real thing. Like, especially people who haven't married Black women, the anxiety will be through the roof, right? But it isn't just them; it's also people who are born on the continent who come to another land, where one says you're Black, one says you're African, or see Brother Stanley's doing that now. He's saying you guys ain't Black, you're from the UK. So it's all this kind of stuff like that, right? So we have terms to just quickly.
How are you not blue? I don't know. I mean, never mind.
Sister, you shouldn't remember when these people do this. To believe their first words wouldn't be in your best interest. Something has triggered them, and they're trying to cause confusion. And this is the way. Just relabel people. So we're saying that we have this concept where it's the Sun people template, right? And whether you're African, Black, or colored, of African descent, whatever, you can practice this lifestyle. And if you and that's why we're negotiating here. What are those tendencies that is in the collective interest of this people group? Because what will happen is you'll have a 2-hour debate about names. I'm letting you know, if you don't believe me, I can assure you through many years of speaking, and this is one of the distractions that people do. That's why you notice that when the brother came in, the new brother, he obviously has a history on trying to help black people because he's trying to find solutions and giving his ideas and sharing. While the other brother, the brother Stanley, he's trying to disrupt. He's trying to cause.
No, actually, I'm waiting to hop in because you've been going on a while.
Of course. So
okay, so I want to speak after Brother Stanley. I do remember he wanted to say.
No, Mel, you go ahead. It's your turn.
No, because it might do like it might.
No,
I was gonna
well,
say one of my. All right, so I'll say this then. My
okay.
pet peeve, right? Like I am fully on board because like I used to argue with Raven and Kale about they are in the favor of, you know, you have one black parent, you identify as black, you want to practice black betterment, you're black to me. I'm not gonna call you biracial. I'm not gonna call you mixed race. I'm not gonna do that's Kale and Raven's stance, right? And I do have my moments where I'm like, you know what, I do need to be more inclusive like they are and embrace my biracial brothers and sisters and not make them feel uncomfortable and so forth. But I will acknowledge that one of my concerns is that because we know how that group has been used against the people who have two black parents, right, in the past. And I don't want the face of a black woman, like that represents the imagery, like when people will be like, oh, I got a black doctor and it's someone who is biracial. Oh, I have a, you know, like Barack Obama, the first black president, he has a white mom, you know. So therefore, then that image becomes what black is, and then, you know, if we're not acting, talking, having the same values and thoughts, and because this is going to become now the popular, accepted, more palatable version of blackness, then what are we going to be? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to go buy a hair product and all the hair products have mixed race people on it. Like, you know, like I'm going to get black products and I can't see a black woman. I'm seeing, and I don't mean it I'm not trying to be offensive, but I'm saying I can't see a woman who looks like me that my daughter could say, oh, like it's someone who looks like they have a whole white mom. Like I just don't, I would love there for there to be a way to include these people without that being the face of blackness.
Yeah. So what you said is
well,
what
wait,
you said.
I don't. My bad.
This is important. Very important. This is actually very important, and I'm glad you said it because whenever there is some kind of disagreements going on, usually that isn't said first. It's more the solutions so that doesn't happen. But knowing how that thought process is important because baked within black betterment is to make sure that can't happen, right? So awareness, we give special treatment. It's called compensatory treatment to darker skinned black women, right? And the reason is because we're rebalancing what was lost, right? So we can't have a scenario where black women are universally represented by biracial women, right? There's going to be concepts where you see biracial women, whatever it might be, right? But generally, when we even talk about the religious concept, where we talk about metaphorical Adam and Eve and this kind of stuff, it's the dark skin black. We're looking for the darker skin one we can find because that's compensatory. Yeah, that is a templated concept that I know Brother Kel practices. I practice. It makes sense, right? But your words are important because we write the codes because we're aware of this concept and we're aware how things can easily just slip. So that's why awareness is part of black betterment, like being aware of what has happened and having a compensatory response to it. Go on, Brother Stan, you wanted to speak.
Well, I'm mostly not. Your experience is just not like an American experience. So I will start there, and you take it as you must or will. The one thing I have to say, going back to my son, is my son knows both sides of his family. We get to see him a couple times a month. And the one thing that has never come up to my black son is his skin tone. He is just my son. That is black betterment. That is black excellence. We don't care about the esoteric stuff. We actually care about, well, are you going to college? Or, well, how are you doing? Some of the fluff and your slides, Raven, I find them silly. Black people are black people. If you have to think about whether you're black or you have to have a slide to tell you how you're black, then you're not black.
Well, let me jump in,
That's
bro.
all I have to say.
Thank you, family. So what we say is, and this way of thinking, we understand it. We're coming from
Raven.
Let me just answer this and you can jump in for a second. We're very quick. Sorry, bro. Razor. What is, brother Stanley, is I don't know I don't know what kind of trauma you might be going through, but what we say is this: we believe in strategy and tactics. So a lot of people believe, of course, we believe in strategy and tactics. We understand the value of it, and we know that unfortunately many black people don't. So what happens is when we try to strategize, they go, "Yeah, you got slides and techniques, but if you don't know what you're doing, then what's the point?" That doesn't make sense. Expecting people to know what's best for a collective isn't going to work because so far we haven't been actually practicing that.
That's what parents are for. That's what black parents are for. To teach.
That's why. But Brother Razor, you wanted to say something. Go ahead, Brother Razor. Before we end, go ahead. Brother Razor, I think you wanted to speak. Is he still there?
If he was a white man or what? That's all.
Can you repeat it? We only heard part. We only heard part of your question, brother. Can you repeat it from the beginning?
Yeah, no doubt, mate. No doubt. I was asking, like, is Stanley a white guy or something? You know what I mean? Speaking on this particular subject, it's very interesting to hear a white person's perspective.
No, yep, I'm white.
No,
right. That's cool. That's cool. That's not a problem.
He's not white. Well, he hasn't identified as white before. He said he was black before.
Well, no, you know what? I just got identified to white as white.
He was asking you a question.
He's no clue. He sounds like you,
I was
Raven.
asking you whether you were white or not, bruv. You know what I mean?
You know what? I'm going to let you guess.
Well, obviously, I'm from London, innit? I'm from South East London.
I don't give a shit where you're from.
Hold on, bro, Stanley. Hold on.
Well, no. Now I'm having.
I'm gonna mute Stanley. Remember, but before we jump on, everything is a case study. So remember, by talking about marrying black women, this is the outcome. So, Brother Razor, you have to be aware you're witnessing it now. So there's like a tempest we can be drawn into. So the way I deal with it is think of it as a template, as a.
Well, let him guess if I'm white or black.
That's fine, brother. So, yeah, whatever it is, brother.
Oh,
what I'm saying is,
I completely identify.
He made a guess.
Yeah.
No, but Stanley, you didn't have to go to the cursing and all of that stuff. The cursing.
Yeah, it's unacceptable, brother Stan. We're gonna put you down in the thing for a minute while you.
You know
what? But so what I'm saying to Brother Razor, and we're gonna have to end quite soonish, right? But do not be triggered by people in trauma, right? As in, like, once we talk about these very important topics, they will be triggered, yeah. And what I'm saying is the tactics I would say is just have consideration that they have made a choice that makes them achieving betterment even more difficult. You see, and they have to live with that choice, and that's you're seeing the trauma from that, yeah. But they're kind of out of the fault, yeah. Brother Stanley is unseen.
I completely feel you.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick his bones.
Yeah, of course you can.
No, I
But
want
because of his language, he was
to
too.
back and forth with him or anything like that. I just
Yeah, but he once they start using colorless language,
yeah, I
they-
guess so. It's still
then they're already been. And we let him go and rest and sleep on it. I'm sure he'll get better in a couple of days. But we have to end the show there. So any last words from the guest family?
go and
Any
sit with the jelly sandwiches and the mayonnaise.
Any last words, family?
Now, all I gotta say is what the male from America was saying. His name is Stanley. That this is the quintessential example why me personally, I can't include quote unquote biracial people. Not that I can't include them. They have a glass ceiling. And what he came up on the panel and articulated is a common psyche amongst what I see black males over here in America. So if I have a child with a black woman, if I have a child with a white woman, he's automatically black because I'm black in the cultural quote unquote norm that we have because of the one drop rule. This is very very bad for our community, and it gotta stop. Just because you are a black male or a black woman, if you procreate with somebody that's white, that your child is not automatically black. And until we change that, these people are always going to have an incentive to keep procreating with people. And what he said about being black in America, he got a point. Yeah, the black people that don't, there's no standard. People can do whatever they want, and anything goes in our communities out here. That's why you got the rainbow community over here. That's why you got females over here wearing coochie cutters. That's why you got men over here, 40 years old, pants hanging off their butt to their knees. That's why you got people talking about they black conservatives with MAGA hats on. Anything goes in our community, and there's no sense of community, to be honest. So yeah, he's a quintessential example of that. He's just an aspect of it, and it's really a disgrace. But hopefully we all get better. Nah, not hopefully. We will all get better. And Black Betterment.
Thank you, family. And before the next jump in, just so you know, that's why we're formulating rules here. And brother, you're part of that process. So all these are case studies for us to have rules to minimize those actions happening. And the more you come back, the more you see we've actually got answers to all those questions. But Melanie Goddess, would you like to give your last words as well, sister?
I'm just keep coming back. I am learning. I am learning about how like all of this identity crisis and how it's impacting the larger community. And if people think that Raven is obsessed with who people sleep with, and he's only focusing on that, and as something that's menial and trivial, just pay attention to the identity politics that is going on in the global Black community, where continental Africans are shunning other continental Africans for speaking their indigenous language as opposed to their colonized language, because it changes their identity to being more educated and more affluent and X, Y, and Z. We have people who think that they're Moors, think that they're indigenous, native Indians. We have Black people who call themselves Arawaks and Tainos, wanting to be anything but an African, a descendant from Africa, a descendant of ancestors who experienced the transatlantic slave trade. They just want to be something else, different. We have an identity crisis, and the way that Stanley is pushed like this, people are automatically Black if without checking their temperament is just, to me, it's dangerous. That's just dangerous, and we need to what's it called, safe keep or gatekeep our community. I think that's it.
Brother Razor.
I appreciate the work you've been putting in for how many years, and I really enjoy your insight. Also, maximum respect to Brother Truth and Miss Melanated for your perspective. This has been an interesting chat. Unfortunately, you know, Stanley was taking the Michael, but other than that, yeah, this has been a cool chat, man. It went explored many different aspects, and the stuff you had on the screen, some of this stuff on there, because if you do, this would be good. And much blessings to you, and have a nice weekend.
Thank you, family. All right, so family, until then, Black Betterment, those who are first here, a new history, feel free to jump in next week if you come and tell your friend, tell a friend to join in. We are trying to find solutions to Black challenges, so you're welcome to come along. But until then, Black Betterment, all Black Betterment. See ya.